If you ain't Sinetta, no time for that interview, dog. I put my shit out for niggas, I don't send it to blogs. Clan kill off the Buddha, not being discreet. One puff, this big pops and projectiles. Between the sheets. Sun run, cold game, bring your cleats. The best flow blow, Eskimo, penguin feet. Don't need no blunt to burn. You run the turf with 10 niggas on the block. That's a punt return. Ayo, Dolomite prototype soldier with the solar light. Saber and he hold it like he hold a mic. Golden ice benders. Sipping on that overpriced poltergeist spirits. Ripping at the open mic, quoting nice lyrics like Mama moved mean overnight. Golden motorbike holding on some Tron shit. That nice neon kit is on it. The king's libation with exotic liqueur. The queen's vibration like a Sada Shakur. A lot of decor, imported foreign threads, they ain't got it to store. Nubian Kush, black top pottery jaws, 39% THC, the quality pure. Old rappers try to spit, ain't hot as before. It's like I'm 5 flights above, busting shots at the floor. Cats switch up they style when they ain't got it no more. Cause they gotta keep their product in stores to feed their kids. See what that weed did? The yes man agreeing on everything we said. I smother the mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get sliced and beat with the butt of the knife. Brother polite to say I'm animalistic, cause I still be in the hood with my hand on my pistol. The Hebrews think I'm cannibalistic, E5 divination, channel the mystic, audio visionary. Let's play poetical dictionary, picture me burning down your missionary. Yeah, then I send you religion. That red dot on your head, that's Hindu tradition. Invisible, independent, intrinsic shit. I'll bring it all to an end with indivisible games. Charles Xavier, getting your brain. Mental anguish, a manifesting physical pain. Wizard remains to dance in the chemical rain. Breathe slow, then I'm up out of this physical plane. Got military machinery that exercise, weaponized greenery. Shine at a jeopardize the scenery, son. Bruh, the beam 10 times your distance. Inclines be benching. Stop rising with no trend line resistance. The parabolic breakout. I'm F-16 with the aeronautics fake out.
The God killer. The God killer. The God killer. The God killer. It's the God killer.
Alright, what up, what up, what up?
The God killer. It's the God killer. The God killer. The God killer. The God killer. It's the God killer. The God killer. The God killer. The God killer. The God killer.
Hey, let me know if y'all can hear me talking while the music playing. Tell me a yes or no if y'all can hear me clear while the music playing. It be tripping sometimes.
If you ain't Sinetta, no time for that interview.
I should let that play,
shit out for niggas, I don't send it to blogs.
Fire. Dang, that's fire. Let me know if y'all can hear me talking while the music was playing. We about to have a nice class, nice session. But I ain't gonna rush into it. Let's let y'all say what's up in the chat. I see you. What's up, official? What's up, anointed Sadat Michael? Oh, y'all can? Okay, cool. Sometimes it be messing up. I'm gonna play this one track, play a few more tracks. We going straight to class today. Let's go. I'm glad y'all can hear me while the music playing. Shout out to Killer Mike. Shout out to Sister Amina. Here we go.
Revolutionaryism, you think about fighting and dying in the street, you ain't shit. Killer Mike said black people ain't ready to revolt. It's a disparaging marriage and he ready to elope. Maritime coastline, deep V hull boat. Crack a nose turned up, machete to your throat. The divine snatched the arm back, she fine, she in Zinga. Moroccan mercenary got a line on Moringa. Ask Chief X to swing it. Go fund me to rock a new car or build a school like I'm Dr. Umar. Nah, go fund some more guns, banana clips and cannabis and bury it. The jackal, Anubis.
Shout out to Sonetta Studios, Sonetta TV, bringing y'all Smash Rock Wellington is elegance.
Hands down.
Y'all know how we do. Like the video, let's go.
You are as a part of this system as any white person gentrified. I'm on life. Hovercraft propellers over swamp water. We make the thoughtful think they should have thought harder. Be aware of this.
I'm on the West Coast. It's 9:56. Y'all gotta snap into the West Coast vibe.
You need a shrink guard therapist. Mental disorder ordered them to label you a terrorist. I breathe elements and I found the secret. We could all walk on water if it's ground beneath it. I carry my weapon and keep my trees and still be hotep and ask to rig my shade. 6 in the morning, I greet my seed, then do everything I think I need.
I have to say this because I know our spirit and our emotions get stirred. I'm not against nobody on the panel. I'm with everybody. I'm not diametrically opposed to anybody. I agree with everything my brother said about Revolution.
It's about 10 a.m.
So let me ask you guys a few questions. We're in the South, we're in the heart of the South right now. Who fishing? Who knows how to fish? Hands down. Who knows how to hunt? Let's hands down. Hands down.
Black people, are you ready to revolt? Black people, are you ready to revolt?
That slap right there. Sister Armenia in the building.
Black people, are you ready to revolt? Black people, are you ready to revolt?
All right. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Let me look at the chat. What's up? I see y'all. I see Cali active. No diplomacy. What's up, Yerk? Donnell, Gwendolyn, Adrian. History's mystery. What's up? Let me look at this other chat. See who in the building already. I need to pop this chat out. Pop out chat. Oh boy. Life. It'd be a fool. But I made this stream to do a while ago, and I never clicked the button. So I was saying it like, why I never did this stream? What's up, Morpheus? Kareem, Anointed, Sister Freedom in the building. Clifton, what's up? Big everything. No, what's the matter with you? Ain't nothing even happened yet. You talking about this was a joke, I'm out. Every time somebody they try to start an out campaign. Calm down. We about to have a good show. You're already mad, man. What's up, Pop? Who else in the building? Clifton, Jamila. What's up? Official Jones. Malcolm's Revenge. Yep, everybody. Brian, what's up? Olasumbo. Yep. All right, just chilling. Let me look at this right here. This is an article I wrote a long time ago. I probably should change the title after about 10 years of no response. But I wrote it back in the day. No, I don't even, just call it El Shaddai, the Mother Goddess. All right. And I'm just about to read straight from the article. A lot of this stuff is just stuff I put together from what I was learning in times. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to do it like this. Right? Already? Hold on. Hold up real quick, man. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go to some music. Hold up.
Yeah, and I'ma work 'cause I ain't going out lazy, bruh. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bruh. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bruh.
All right, that wasn't nothing. Nah, that wasn't nothing. Now, if I got if I got the AI to read this, it'll be going down. But let me do my own AI. We're talking about El Shaddai, the mother goddess in the Bible. Introduction. It has been argued that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was not Yahweh. And it is quite plausible that the mother goddess of ancient times was also venerated by pre-Mosaic patriarchs. It appears the monotheistic presupposition of biblical translators allowed them to superimpose values on biblical text by amalgamating deities, reducing the gods of the Bible worshipped by the patriarchs of pre-Mosaic times to Yahweh. It is my contention that El Shaddai was a feminine epithet that signified the mother goddess. Nana. Ooh, I like my opening. What's up with y'all? If I came out busting writtens on y'all, y'all ain't even got no writtens. Let me go. See, it could get good. Let's let it get good today. El Shaddai. Harriet Lutsky, and Shaddai as a goddess epithet, Vetus Testamentum 48, 1998, contemplated if El Shaddai was a Semitic goddess Ashura. Lutsky, now remember, I'm telling y'all the source right here up front before we dig into the content. Lutsky demonstrated translations of El Shaddai as Yahweh was based on priestly tradition. All right? She demonstrated that. Scholars estimate these priestly sources was composed circa 900 to 500 BCE. Contemporary sources list a date of 2091 BC for quote-unquote God sending Abram to Egypt. I argue that El Shaddai possibly was a goddess of the patriarchs of pre-Mosaic times, and that the monotheistic disposition of the authors of the priestly sources created a literary effort at promulgating, I'm just on the screen, at promulgating Yahweh's veneration. This demoted other gods to being mere epithets for Yahweh. This was the cause of El Shaddai of the priestly narrative being reduced to Yahweh. Let me make this smaller. All right. Y'all with me out there? I know I ain't read nothing that can lose you so far. Now in Exodus 6 and 3 we read, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of El Shaddai. But by my name Yahweh was I not known to them. The above verse is a priestly account used to amalgamate Yahweh with El Shaddai. It really makes no sense because, as I will detail later, Yahweh revealed his name many times before Exodus 6:3. Genesis 17 and 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Now check it out. Regardless if Exodus 6 and 3 attempts to amalgamate Yahweh with El Shaddai, let the verse establish that neither Abraham, Isaac, nor Jacob knew Yahweh, but they worshiped El Shaddai. I ask, how could one know or identify a God other than by name? It is taught that Yahweh is an omnipresent, all-knowing God, indiscernible by boundaries, with no corporeal effigy, represented by no graven image. Then knowing Yahweh before knowing his name could only be done by identifying that the laws of Yahweh are the same laws one found prior to knowing the name of Yahweh. At a prior point in time, when one did not know Yahweh's name, no comparison could have been drawn between El's laws and the laws of an unrevealed God. The similarities and differences between the laws of separate deities causes one to say one God is the same as another God. But if the latter God does not reveal himself for comparison, supplementation, or amalgamation is impossible. Even though the narrative contradicts this, Yahweh supposedly did not reveal his name to anyone but Moses. So how then could Abraham have thought of El Shaddai as Yahweh? Contradictory accounts in Genesis 15:2, 15:7, 15:8, 18:14, 22:14, where Yahweh's name is called by other than Moses, do nothing but illustrate the conflicts one will encounter using the Bible as material to substantiate itself. Most extra biblical sources. Oh man, hold on. See, this on a level. I had to pause and throw something in to mess it all up. See, y'all see, if I take the words off the screen, right? And I just bust, let me show you how they'll do you. See, they're gonna take the words off the screen. If they raw like me, then they're gonna have it written. And all you could be seeing is pictures while I'm busting like this, you feel me? Of the presentation. So this is why I often say that we should have written presentations that we're reading to go right along with the pictures we show. You feel me? Because I could just be like, at a prior point in time, I mean, I wrote this so I could say it just like I'm talking to y'all. At a prior point in time when one did not know Yahweh's name, no comparison could have been drawn between El's laws and the laws of an unrevealed God. The similarities and differences between the laws of separate deities causes one to say one God is the same as another God. But if the latter God does not reveal himself for comparison, this supplantation or amalgamation is impossible. Even though the narrative contradicts this, Yahweh supposedly did not reveal his name to anyone but Moses. So how then could Abraham have thought that El Shaddai was Yahweh? Contradictory accounts in Genesis 15:2, 15:7, 15:8, 18:14, 22:14, where Yahweh's name was called by other than Moses, do nothing but illustrate the conflicts one will encounter when using the Bible as material to substantiate itself. See, I could do this because I perform too. So that's half the reason why it just be so bad and ugly. But let's keep going. I could do y'all too. I could be like, the most extra biblical sources show that these were not other names for Yahweh. In order to understand what I propose, one should refer to the documentary hypothesis. All right. Now let me bring this up for y'all. A summary of the documentary hypothesis, or this summary, is from Wisconsin University. And I'm not going to read the whole summary right now, but I'm going to just break it down for y'all. Basically, the documentary hypothesis, or I could just, why not just read it? The documentary hypothesis claims that the Pentateuch is composed of 4 separate, complete, and coherent documents. All right. Those documents are J, the Yahwist, J gets its name because it's used and allows humans to use the name Yahweh in German before Israel exists. See Genesis 4:26. J appears to have been composed in Judah, perhaps during Solomon's day around 950 BC. When they say J appears to have been composed, they're talking about the Yahwist literature. We have E, the Elohist. This name or the name is derived from E's use of Elohim, Hebrew for God, rather than Yahweh in the earlier period. E reserves the name of Yahweh for a time from Moses on. And you can see Exodus 3:13 through 15. E appears to have been written in the north around 850 BC. Now we got P, which is the priestly source. P is especially concerned with the stories and laws relevant to priests. Like E, it reserves the name Yahweh for, I said 4. It reserves the name Yahweh for the periods from Moses on. See Exodus 6 and 3. Many scholars date P either during the exile, 6th century BCE, or shortly after 5th century BCE. Others date it to earlier as well as the beginning. Others dated as early as the beginning of the 7th century BCE. Excuse me. D is essentially the book of Deuteronomy, and it is not mingled with J, E, or P. J, E, and P are either placed end to end or intertwined, as with the flood narrative, throughout the first 4 books of the Bible. Now, the major strength of the hypothesis is that it accounts for the differences in ideas. See, this is what we're going to talk about here. It accounts for the differences in ideas and terminology between various sections and stories in the Pentateuch. In particular, it provides a good explanation for the peculiar character of the material labeled P by suggesting that P reflects the perspectives and concerns of Israel's priests. So if we go and look at the literature under this pretext, we will start to see things reveal themselves. What's up? Let me see what's going on in the chat. We will see things start to reveal themselves. But I can keep going. El Shaddai is not God Almighty or Yahweh. We've messed this up for so long that I don't even know what we be tripping on. But when we do the text, and I know a lot of y'all do it from the Hebrew, and then when we look into the extra biblical sources from the area, dang, I can't have no ad just sitting on the page. I'm tripping. Then when we look at the extra biblical sources from the area, we start to find out these things ring true. It says the DH offers the student clarity when scrutinizing the priestly narrative in the Bible, which is responsible for equating El Shaddai with Yahweh by attempting to make El Shaddai an alternate name for Yahweh. So it should be established that the translation God Almighty is inaccurate. It is an inaccurate interpolation superimposed on El Shaddai. For real? Let me say, excuse me. Again, it is an inaccurate interpolation superimposed on El Shaddai. And my source for that is the New Jerusalem Standard. The New Jerusalem Bible Standard Edition, excuse me. London, Dartmouth, Longman and Todd, 1985, page 908, where it reads, translating El Shaddai as Almighty God is inaccurate. Let me make that bigger. There's your source. You look that up. So if you want to come in this video, when I open it up and try to tell me that El Shaddai means Almighty God, you have to contend with the New Jerusalem Bible Standard Edition, page 908. Now, let's just get into the logic so that you can see it and check it out. There is no account of Yahweh superseding or replacing the Canaanite gods El, Elyon, El Shaddai, or Elohim contemporaneous with the events it describes. The revisionist description, I started looking at the chat and started laughing. The revisions describing Yahweh as El Shaddai, etc., are textual results of the priestly accounts, circa 9th to 5th century BC. These are Hebrew narratives that attest to Yahweh being El Elyon, El Elyon, and El Shaddai. There is more non-biblical evidence that El Shaddai was Nana, Sin Nana, Bel Shade, El Shaddai. Then there is biblical evidence that El Shaddai was Yahweh. All right. In a Journal of Biblical Literature, volume 87, number 4, December 1968, page 434 to 438, Lord R. Bailey, here's an article, Israelite El Shaddai and Amorite Bel Shade. All right. And he pondered if El Shaddai was the Amorite god Bel Shade. I just see, I was looking because I thought I didn't put both quotation marks in this, but I did. Pondered if El Shaddai was the Amorite god Bel Shade. Also see the Journal of Biblical Literature, volume 88, number 4, December 1969, more on El Shaddai and Bel Shade by Jean Follett, excuse me. Page Orlett or whatever. Sorry for butchering her name. Page 470, 471. The point of emphasis being that scholars have raised the question of El Shaddai existing as a separate God other than Yahweh. I support William F. Albright, Harriet Lupsky, Lloyd R. Bailey, David Biel work and suggest the denotive meaning of El Shaddai is the God with breast, as the connotative meaning is the God of the mountain. So again, I want to read that over. I continue to support William F. Albright, Harriet Lupsky, Lloyd R. Bailey, and David Biel's work that suggests the denotative meaning of El Shaddai is the God with breast. And the connotative meaning is the God of the mountain. This is what these works put forward. All right. Albright's thesis has been generally adopted by more recent scholars, although they have added various refinements. And this is out of David Biel's work, El Shaddai, the God with breast, page 241. He says, F.M. Cross strengthened Albright's philological arguments while Lloyd Biel, like Lord Bailey and Jean Collette and E.L. Abel suggest quite persuasively the possibility that El Shaddai derives from the Amorite lunar god Sin Il Amaru, all right, or Bel Shade, all right, who was once a storm god and a war god and also a god of the mountains. It was therefore natural for the wander. Oh, well, that cuts off. But the God of the mountains is what we need to get out of that. And here we go with the God with breast. Now, in the God with breast, El Shaddai in the Bible, David Bialy, he says, gives up wonderful information regarding El Shaddai being a Semitic goddess. Although Bialy concluded that El Shaddai was Ashura, his work offers tons of sources. I said this work offers tons of sources used to substantiate the claim that El Shaddai was the God with breast. The scholarly consensus on the etymology of Shaddai is based on the Akkadian etymon Shadu, which means mountain. William F. Albright argued that Shadu derived from the Ugaritic root tad for breast. Old Akkadian Shadui, Shad in Hebrew. Albright went further to explain Shaddai doesn't directly derive from Shadu, but from Shadua, mountaineer. Albright also connected El Shaddai to the Amorite god Bel Shade. Jenny Klein shows Bel Shade or Sin Nana was a. Now look at this. So this is how I get to make my connection. Jenny Klein shows Bel Shade or Sin Nana was originally Nana, the mother goddess. Mama Zogbe uses the work of Dr. Nana Darkwa in connecting the Iwi goddess Nana to the Kedah, a people of the kingdom that preceded the Hittites. Klein also shows Nana was also venerated as a goddess by the Sumerians. This is what she showed. And we can see this too. Nana was also venerated as a goddess by Sumerians before she took the masculine form, Nana. All right. A Sumerio-Akkadian hymn to Nana from 740 BC points out Nana's dual nature. I have heavy breasts in Duduni. I have a beard in Babylon. Still, I am Nana. You see? So they telling you right there that she took a masculine into the feminine form. So when we see Nana from the Sumerians become a masculine Nana to the Akkadians, we start to get some understanding of that. But let's keep with the Bible for a minute. Let's think about the fertility blessings of El Shaddai and how they also reference the breast. Genesis 49:25, we have, even by the God of thy father. Huh? Let's slow down. Right there, it's telling you. Even by the God of thy father. Who is the God of thy father? But they're going to reveal it to you. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee. And, somebody else? I'm not tripping. You could go to the Hebrew and say, okay, it ain't there. That's not the point of emphasis. Let's keep going. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by Almighty, which is El Shaddai, really, because that Almighty is inaccurate, says the New Jerusalem Standard Edition Bible. El Shaddai, who shall bless thee with blessings of the heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. These are feminine fertility blessings. Blessings of the breast and blessings of the womb. It says, the proposed etymology of the biblical term Shaddai, which is traced back to shad for breast, is relevant in discussing the blessing of the breast, Shaddai or Shadim, of Genesis 49:25, which I will discuss later. The statement, I have heavy breast in the Duni, should also be analyzed. The Dodona, Greece. Dodona was also the oracle of the mother goddess. Herodotus tells a story of two black doves, one of which came from Egypt to Greece to become the oracle of Dodona. And that's in the Histories book 2, paragraph 54 to 57. The fact that a Sumerio-Akkadian hymn to Nana from 740 BC places Nana in Greece, combined with finds of Nana cults in northwest India, Nana being traced through the Hittite Kedah kingdom, with origins found in Ghana, where she survives as Nana Buluku. All right. I want to pull that up right now. That just made me want to pull it up. That juice. Anambaluku. Female supreme being in West African tradition. Man, it's crazy. Because I wrote this like 10 years ago. And Yamanya. I said that right. Say Yamanya. Water spirit. All right, y'all can teach me more about that. Remember said? Y'all could teach me more about that. Where we at though, right here. In Yoruba land to this day, is evidence that the mother goddess was worshipped all over the ancient world. Now we can attack any of this evidence. We could attack any of this evidence. But it goes like this. Nana's heavy breast was a theme indicating fertility and fertility blessings, dating from as far back as 33,000 BC until biblical times. Yes, let me read that again. Nana's heavy breast were a theme indicating fertility and fertility blessings dating from as far back as 33,000 BC until biblical times. All right. Now look, this section I call, man, can I stop these ads? This section I call the pseudo-Venus figurine is Nana. Now look, just keep this clear. You got to be clear on this. There is no Venus figurine from antiquity. It just doesn't exist. It's an anachronism. Venus figurines, or Venus figurine is a pseudonym for figurines found and said to be the icons of a Roman goddess of beauty who was not even conceptualized at the time these figurines were carved. Going by standards set forth in traditional Roman art, goddess of beauty does not fit the image of the Venus figurine so well as scholars propose. On the other hand, Nana, the mother goddess, El Shaddai, the god with breast, it fit the imagery represented on the icons perfectly. In 33,000 BC, again, a 33,000 BC icon of the mother goddess shows her holding the same heavy breast referred to in the Sumerio-Akkadian hymn to Nana at 740 BC. Now watch what I show you and trip off this. As my man just put in the chat. Venus of Willendorf. But this is the Holy Fels figurine. Now look at this. This figurine, or this, what they call in the Bible, icon. First, let me say something as a side note. We do not find men figurines going back as far as we find feminine figurines. Like these are the first quote unquote statues. They small, but then they just got bigger. Now, this person carving out this wood dated to 33,000 BC knew nothing of a Venus. So therefore, we're safe to say this ain't a Venus figurine. What they did wanted to indicate to us was two things. That her breasts were heavy because she's holding them up. And they even went as far as to do certain things around the pelvic area. This is all about, and this woman looks fertile or healthy. I argue that this is Nana because I have the evidence to prove it. The theme is recreated all over the world in early time periods, holding the heavy breast of fertility. A fertility blessing. An indication of fertility, or for lack of better words, I'm just going to stay with fertility. That's dated to 33,000 BC. But look at these that they got all dated to 25,000 BC. You go up, make it bigger. Hold on. What's the theme here? We don't see them holding. We see fertility. We see heavy breast. None of these fit the image of a Venus figurine. So who was this woman? Or that they keep portraying? Who was this? What is this image of this very fertile woman that they keep portraying. $25,000 BC. How are they dating these things to these astronauts, these dates? And then on top of that, saying that it's Venus. Well, the question ain't that bad that who is this, because it's going to start to reveal itself. 3 European Venus figurines from the Ice Age. This is what this source says. And we got to hear the Venus of the Vestonis and Chet of Burnt Clay, the Venus of Wallendorf, Austria, chalk, and the Venus of Les Pourg, or whatever, France. Mammoth ivory. What about Siberia, Russia? What theme do we see being followed here? Heavy set with heavy breasts. But notice how the one at 33,000 BC, she was holding up the breast. And watch how this start happening. Here's one found at 20,000 BC in France. She has some type of a horn or what have you, but what do we see? The same thing, not really holding, but the same fertility indications. But now it gets back crazy. Because if you take the one from 33,000 BCE to this one dated at 6,000 BC, why is she holding her breast again? Just tell me why. Don't say there's no coincidence because I got too much of this. Why is she doing this? Let's go back up. We want to go back up to the first one, to where these people couldn't have knew these people. Look, 33,000 BC, y'all look that up. You're going to get this. Holding the heavy breast. Then we go down to 6,000 BC, you're going to get this. Holding the heavy breast. What happens here? We could go to 1,000 years later. Y'all won't even think this is real. Tell Songor A 5,000 BC. What is she doing? Holding the heavy breast. Or holding up her breast. Do y'all think that this is just a coincidence? Or is it something we didn't know about they ain't taught us about? Is this to be looked at as a coincidence? Why are people carving these things in stone way before anything else? All women with heavy breasts. Y'all tell me. I ain't forming no conclusions. I'm showing you the evidence. What about this one? Another 1,000 years later. Anyone? Do y'all see that people all over the world thought it was something to sit down and carve out a woman holding up heavy breast? This was fertility, nothing else. That's what it's showing, that the mother goddess was the one who brought forth fertility blessing. This is That's what I argue. You can tell me it means something else. This is before we ever see the woman holding her seed, holding her offspring. So this can be found in Syria at 4000 BC. Let's keep going because it's overabundant evidence. Let's keep going. And the collection of these ain't no place else but in my article. I mean, they're all over the world in the place that I sourced them. But showing you this like this is what I present. And if y'all appreciate the work, it's Smash Rock on Cash App. Always make you feel better about what you're doing. You feel me? Shout out to y'all. And y'all been looking out for me lately. I appreciate y'all. You feel me? But look at this. Where we gonna go now? 4000 BC. Still, can we keep going? Let's see how far we can keep going. Where we at? Now we back to look where we at. Greece. 4000 BC. Here she come. This is not my dating. This is their dating. What's that? Why she still holding the heavy breast? The blessing of the breast and the blessing of the womb. Am I off on a tangent? How about in Judah? See, this beat the brakes off them. Look what they was doing in Judah. Told you, nah. Y'all thought I'd be playing. Look, here go nah in Judah. So now you learn why they was so tripping. See, they was confusing nah with Ashura a lot of the time. So we got this term called grove, and they seen these things. Let me tell you something about the Bible, man. I had to study it to learn it. They seen these things like this, and they thought that they called them groves. So let me go to the Bible real quick. Let me see. Stop screen. Let me see if I can just go to. Excuse me. I mean, all that typing in the screen. Let me see if I can share this. We're going to have some fun real quick. Because in the hood, you might have went to New Mount Grove. I'm going to type the word Grove and watch this. So here go the thing that's about to go down. They about to do this to fool you. They're going to tell you a grove is two things. No need to even look it up. I've done this work. They're going to say a grove is either a tree or an image to Ashura, of Ashura. Hold on. Now look. It says in Genesis 21 and 33, Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. Now, if you click in the grove, like I told you, they're going to act like they're talking about a tree here. But let's keep on tripping off it. Deuteronomy 16 tells us not to do that. So it must not be what he did right here. I'm about to break it down. This is so simple. You know the dudes is going to try to come up with their flippity flips. But look at what it says. Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. But Deuteronomy 16:21 tell you, thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee. So hold on. They saying you can't do what Abram did? How do they reconcile that? They tell you the two definitions of grove. One is a tree, and other is an image of Ashura. But they messed it up. Smash will tell you that nope, it wasn't even Ashura. This is what it was. Let me show you. They just trying to give veneration to Ashura, but this is what it really was. It was veneration to Nana. So these are groves holding heavy breasts, but I still got to prove it, but I will. Now look, Nana and Judah, well, whatever they call them, they are definitely in Judah at that time period, right? Now let's check this out. So Abraham planted the grove, but the law said you shouldn't do that. Now let's keep reading up on these grove things and see how this play out. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it. So y'all think it's a tree. They making you think that it's a tree next to the altar, but it's not. We're going to keep on seeing that they tearing down monuments to another god. Notice this, but we'll see eventually. And build an altar unto the Lord upon the top of the rock order, and take down the second bullock, offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove. Now we really know they're talking about a tree, which thou shalt cut down. Now watch this. And then the men of the city arose early in the morning. Behold, the altar of Baal was cast down. They're still talking about that same grove was cut down that was by it and the second bullock. So we're going to keep seeing how they address these groves. So he have cut down the grove. Now there's one they're definitely saying this is definitely 100% a tree. Now look at this when we get to Kings, 1 Kings 15:13. And so who is that? Makkah, I guess that was Makkah, his mother. Even her removed from being queen because she had made an idol in the grove. So if a grove is a tree, she made an idol in the tree. Because they're saying a grove is the type of a tree that you can cut down. Like, I'll show you the definition. It's not a whole flock of trees. It is a simple tree. Watch this. So if she made an idol in the grove, and Asa destroyed her idol, and burned it, so it was wood, and burned it by. So now watch how they trip off the grove. And Ahab made a grove. Did he make a tree? Yes or no? See? This is how they get you. He didn't make a tree. He made one of these. I'm going to prove it. And Ahab made a grove. This is not a tree. As you see in Kings, you make a grove inside of a tree. An idol in a grove. So if this grove right here is being used as a tree, he made an idol in it regardless, and then it got burnt. Now Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Lord of Israel to anger all the kings of Israel before him, because he made that grove. Now it says, 2 Kings, nevertheless, they departed from the sins of the house of Jeroboam. It says, who made Israel sin but walked therein, and there remained the grove also in Samaria. So is this the tree that remained, you think? No, this is an idol that they told you not to make up in the beginning. Here's another one. And they left the commandments of the Lord their God, and they made molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove. That's not a tree. And worship all the host of heaven and served Baal. All right. Now that we can clearly see that a grave, they making a grove, they're not making a tree. Now look, he set his graven image of the grove that he had made in his house. Again, he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in his house, of which the Lord said, David and Solomon his sons in his house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen of all the tribes of Israel, but I put my name forever. What did he do? He set a graven image of the grove. So you think it was a picture of a tree? I mean, it was a graven image of a tree that he made? Nah. At the most, it was made out of a tree. There you go. I ain't got to read all of them. I mean, I will, but I'm just showing you. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priest of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal and for the grove. Baal is a deity, and the grove is too. They just hiding it. Now the grove is in the form of an icon. Now a tree. So an icon or a tree. Let me click into it so you can see. Tools. Right? Now we're going to go to this grove word. And for the grove. Oh, it don't say nothing about no grove. It say Ashura. Oh, is y'all not hearing that? Oh, y'all must not be hearing that. Oh, stop screen. I got to make sure y'all hear that. Y'all got to hear that. Can y'all hear that? Yes or no? Because it was just getting it all the way in. All right, let me make it. I'm going to play it one more time so y'all can hear it. Look. The grove ain't even a grove. I told y'all.
Strong's H842. Asherah. Asherah.
It's Ashura. But they messed up because they thought Nana was Ashura. And I'm going to show you how she became Ashura at that time. Who did the research? That's why this article got dumb mute God silence. It's like you proved it. Now let's go back. So it's you read it as for the grove. No, and as for Ashura.
Strong's H842. Asherah. Asherah.
Hold on. Oh, damn. I just got a big ass delivery that could not stay on my porch. If they leave that on my porch, somebody gonna get that shit in a second. So hold on 1 second. We're gonna go back to this.
If you ain't never time for that in the dog, I put my shit out for niggas now, plan kill off the boot, not being the street, one puff, big pops and projectiles, run, gang, ring the clear, the best of blow, Eskimo, don't need no blood to burn, you run the turf with 10 niggas on the block, that's a puff return, ayo, Dolomite, prototype, soldier with the solar light, saber and hold it like you hold a mic, golden ice, sipping on that overpriced poltergeist spirit, ripping that open mic, smoking nice lyrics like Mama move mean overnight, golden motorbike, holding on some trying shit, that nice neon is on it. The king's libation with exotic liqueur. Queen's vibration like a lot of support. A lot of support. Supported for it, friends, they ain't got it stored. Nubian Kush, black pottery jaws, 39% THC. The ball, rappers try to spit ain't hot as before. Like I'm fired like a ball, bust the chops to the floor. Cats with just big style and they ain't got it no more. Cause they gotta keep their product in stores. See what that weed did? Yes, man, agreeing on everything we say. I smell of a mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get sliced in with the butt of the knife. Brother polite, I say I'm animalistic, cause I still in the hood with my hand on my hip. The Hebrews think I'm cannibalistic. E5 divination, channel the mystic. Visionary, play poetical visionary. Burn it down, your missionary. Then I send you religion. That red dot on your head, that's Hindu tradition. Invisible, independent, dead in transition. I'll bring it all to an end. With indivisible games, Charles Xavier, getting your brain. Mental anguish, a manifest physical pain. Wizard remains to dance in the chemical rain. Breathe slow, then I'm about it is physical pain. Got military machinery that exercise, weaponized greenery. Shine at a jeopardize the scenery, son. The beam 10 times your distance. Incline prevention.
All right, my bad. Let me see. You ain't prepared to disagree, Chef. All due respect. You don't know nothing about this. You know what I'm saying? You see, I got the homework. Oh, it was an echo probably because I had my headphones. I just ran out to get this delivery. My bad. Hold up. Now look at this.
Strong's H842. Asherah.
I could go into 842 to prove it. Look, let's say it again.
Strong's H842.
Let's look.
Asherah.
I told you. Look.
Asherah.
Ashura equals groves. Yeah, we know Ashura was there, but what you don't know about Ashura is she's Nana. So it's checkmate. Can I prove that Ashura is Nana? I ain't got to prove it. Ain't nothing going to get proved. But I can give you great evidence. But now I don't really have to go by that because the first outline of biblical usage don't say trees. So what happened when Abram built a grove? Y'all don't remember Abraham built that grove? Ashura wasn't around yet. If Abraham was supposedly around, that grove was not Ashura. It was Nana. I could prove it. There was a ziggurat to Sin Nana in, where was it? In Akkad at that time period. Now look at this. The last use, which is the fake one, is sacred trees or poles set up near an altar. Man, that's to throw you off. When they come up with this last third one, just to make it added to that, look, they added that to that. So this is clearly when you see the grove, that's why I'll be tripping off them churches in the hood called New Mount Grove or something. I'll be like, man, they don't even know what they doing. Now notice this, Chef. You still disagree? See how quick I fix people? Look, Chef said, I'm an archer, Magi archer, and I disagree with this smaff. I'm a serious dude. Now you got to correct yourself just that quick, huh? Because everything you disagree with is right on the screen. At least if this is the part that you disagree with about Ashura. So let's go back and read some of them Bible verses now that we do know that this was, some of y'all, I mean, I know a lot of y'all knew this, but what we didn't know is that this feminine deity is just some confusion. It wasn't even Ashura. But we'll look at that. Now notice how this says this. Astarte or Astarte. Let me take Astarte right here and put it right here. Like that. It says Astarte is the Greek form of the name Astarte, who along with Ashura. Damn, y'all got to start learning this. With Ashura. So that proves that they don't even know who the goddess was. Because the definition says she's Ashura and she's Ashtart. Grove. The word grove in the Bible. So they're telling you, look, when you see it first, the outline of biblical usage is going to be groves for idol worship. The groves of are Ashura. Now it says a Babylonian Ashtart, Canaanite goddess, the supposed consort of Baal, is also used for that, they think. Now they're saying the goddess. The goddess? I thought the mother goddess wasn't in the Bible. Man, cats don't even do this work. See, she's just getting beat up. It's so misogynistic. If you go back and read, now that she's the goddess, they saying don't do nothing with the goddess. Her images, sacred trees and poles. Let's keep going. Happy Ashura or Astar, a Phoenician goddess. They don't even know. They just switched up 3 times. They told us these two is 2 different ones. But what you got to learn is how this leads us back to Nana, which I'll show everyone. So let's get back to the article. Now we see that these, which was found in Judah, is groves. Because they thought this was Ashura. But we see her holding up the breast that Ashura ain't got nothing to do with. And we trace them back further in time before they stories. Let's look at Nana Akatel, Huyuk in Turkey, 6000 BC, where she got, they call us the lioness woman. But I'm just showing that this is a heavy-set woman who looks very fertile with her heavy breasts. They want you to see that. Now they like, no, this was just fat women all over the world. Y'all wrong. This is fertility. And this is actually, even if you look at the walls of Egypt, you're going to see that they represented certain women from certain tribes looking super viscous. You feel me? And so that's what it was. Now it says, here is Nana of Northwest India, 5th, 6th century CE. And she's crouched on a lion. She's not holding her breast, but they literally say her name is Nana. Afghan goddess. No, am I putting it all together? Or I'm saying, y'all saying, no, y'all just grabbing it. No, this is just a woman goddess found all over the world in similar iconography with the similar name. It don't gotta be the same thing. Like they calling her Bibi Nana. Do you think they still think that is the Yoruba goddess? This is how things spread. Well, let's keep looking. Now, I said it's not a figment of my imagination that Nana was originally an African goddess. Scholars have pondered this since the Venus figurines were found. Early discourse on Venus figurines were preoccupied with identifying the race being represented. And the stegiopegus, now I need to remember how to say that word, but this is basically a word for being too thick. They called this being too thick. It's a word for it. Come on, man. What's this word? Stegio what? This is, look, an accumulation of a large amount of fat on the buttocks. We just got to step our vocab up. Anything you ever been trying to say, it was a way to say it so correctly. Now let's learn how to say this right now so you could drop that lug to your homie and y'all be laughing because y'all ain't even did nothing but use words wisely. Let's see.
Steatopigia.
All right.
Steatopigus.
Steatopigus. Oh my God. Is that Steatopigia? Someone will know what you were saying in the store.
Steatopigia.
Now, did I just give y'all a lug? If you can't use that the proper way and get you some game, like, she gonna be like, girl, I have to look that up.
Steatopigia.
I'm teaching that we didn't even know that there's a word for that. And the reason why there's a word for that, because they said there's a particular tribe of Africans who have steatopigia. Let me say that right.
Steatopigus. Steatopigia.
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 Oh, I might have to bring that out in the song. Steatopigia.
Steatopigia. Steatopigia.
I might use this too.
Steatopigia.
Can y'all hear that audio? If y'all can't hear that audio, it's messing everything up. The lady keeps saying steatopigia. Hold on, though. Yeah, you can hear it. Cool. Cool. As an old school. Now, my point isn't nothing goofy or silly. It just happens to be that we learn vocabulary that they form to indicate a particular type of Black woman. Real talk. As a matter of fact, if you look into this term and we do the etymology, it was derived around a Khoisan group, if I'm correct. ETY. So now they got words to say you got a big butt that's different than any other human. Let me show you. Let's see if it comes from the Khoisan. Condition of having a fat buttocks, abnormal accumulation of fat on the buttocks of certain races. Told you. It says, all right, let's see what now I want to show you how they got this. I don't know if they're going to show you about the Khoisan and how they did that. Or was it those people, actually? Well, let's just read my article. Fascination with Sarah Bartman. It says the Hottentot, the slanderous word Hottentot Venus, exhibited as a living ethnographic curiosity. The connoisseurs in Paris early in the 19th century, some authors saw this feature as the depiction of an actual physical property resembling the Khoisan tribe of South Africa. I knew I wrote it in there. While others interpreted this as a symbol of fertility and abundance. Okay? So they seen the excessive, stegiopedis, being stegiopedis as fertility and abundance. You see? Chic anti-jokes, civilization of barbarism has a sure fit comparison between the Khoi woman casting and the Venus figurine. Check it out. He did this a long time ago. Diop did that only to show the type of woman that it's only one type of woman that these figurines indicate. And here we have a pregnant, fertile figurine. Okay? And that's how the Diops work. If we observe the antiquity of the Venus figurines from 33,000 BC until now, there is no way these icons can be anyone else but an African woman. Am I wrong? Well, the ones in modern times could be different, but 33,000, 25,000, yeah. Diop also noted Venus of Willendorf had a traditionally African hairstyle. the Venus of Brazenpoi, or whatever Brazenpoi is called, the hooded Venus. They call this a hood because she really had braids. You think that's a hood separated and plaited like that? She had a raw hood. I can't even find a hood like that right now. That's separated like that on the sides. Mm-hmm. We're going to go back in on some Bible stuff in a minute. Now it says, here we go, right here. For the biblical scholars and the etymologists, let's go. From Nana to Sin Nana to Bel Shade to El Shaddai. In Amaru, Nana was combined with the Amorite god Sin to form Sin Nana. See, I'm going to show you how it happened. Y'all know about the Amorites. Well, they took Nana and combined with the Amorite god Sin and formed Sin Nana or Bel Shade. It's the same thing. If I put Bel Shade right in the wiki, they're going to take you back to Sin Nana. Let's see. So here we go, right here, the article. One of the Israelite El Shaddai, this is one of the articles I cited. R.L. Bailey. Y'all should read this work. It says El Shaddai and the Amorite Bel Shad is what I'm trying to show us. Look. Bel Shad could have been the fertility god, but then they said Baal, possibly adopted by the Canaanites, a rival and enemy of the Hebrew God Yahweh. That's somebody writing that in their WordPress. I'm just reading what people say. All right, and they all going near the same place I'm going. Hold on. 1 second. My bad. Let me see. Oh, what this do? I'm right. Okay. Here we go. So there was also a group of local goddesses. Now, this is what y'all need to trip off. Anyone who think they know what they're talking about, research this. There was also a group of local goddesses in Shaddai. Yes, Shaddai is a location, as we will reveal this. In Shaddai, called the Shaddaiim, a group of goddesses in an area called Shaddai, called the Shaddaiim. See, they just ain't in the Bible. So you wouldn't know about this. Bel Shade linguistically and theophorically depicts El Shaddai, God of Shaddai, the location. Except that Bel is the Lord Master and El means God. In the same way that Baal was a minor god to El in Canaan, the Shaddaiim and Bel Shade were minor deities subordinate to the god Amaru. This is corroborated by the term for the god of the greater state of Amaru. Amaru called Ilu Martu. That's the god of Amor. All right, what have we? Amaru. This makes perfect sense. The classification Bel for Bel Shade, which means Lord or Master for the local god, and the greater classification for the god of the state, Ilu Martu, god of Amaru. It is now confirmed etymologically. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It is now the confirmed etymology of the term Shaddai proposed by Albright that alludes to breast, fertility, and femininity. Again, it's not me saying this. I'm showing y'all what the scholars what conclusions they came to. Now, check this out. At this point, I believe it is obvious that my research supports Lutsky's proposal that El Shaddai was the God with breasts, except I don't claim El Shaddai is Ashura. Remember? Now, let's get into this. Now, let's just say what I wrote, because I worked it out better when I was doing the research. Earlier, I said something and I was going off memory. But here it says, Ashura is not Nana. Okay? Ashtar, often confused with Ashura, is Greek for Ishtar, which is Akkadian for the Sumerian mother goddess Inanna or Nana. So do I need to see that or not? Let's see. I said this is Greek for Ishtar, which is Akkadian for the Sumerian mother goddess Inanna. So is Ishtar Akkadian for the Sumerian mother goddess Nana? Chuck Morgan will have to help me with that, because I didn't know him when I was writing this article. Ishtar goddess when I was writing this article. Let's look. There she go with that love and sexuality and fertility. She is responsible for all life, but she is never a mother goddess. It says, as the goddess of war, she is often shown winged and bared in arms. Now watch this. Let me see. Now it's Greek, which is Akkadian for the Sumerian mother goddess Inanna. Let's see, do they have any connection? Ishtar, Inanna. There we go. Look. Ishtar, Inanna goddess popping right up. Inanna, let's see. Who is Inanna? Inanna is the ancient Mesopotamian goddess of love, war, and fertility. She is also associated with beauty, sex, divine law, and political power, originally worshipped in Sumer. She was known by the Akkadian Empire, Babylonians, and Assyrians as Ishtar. Okay? So now we see Inanna. Y'all thought I made that up. I'm about to beat the brakes off cats. Y'all thought I was playing when I said Ishtar was Inanna. Well, look at this. Look at this. Greek for Ishtar. Now look. Remember when they said the grove was either Ashura or Ashtar or whatever? Well, okay, let's remember. They talking about either Ashura or Ashtar in the Bible. But it says, excuse me if I'm saying her name wrong. Now, Ashtar is Greek for Ishtar. So let's just say Ishtar is who they're talking about in the Bible now. Ishtar or Ashura. But Ishtar is Akkadian for the Sumerian mother goddess Inanna. We just showed you that. Inanna, Assyrian as Ishtar. So that's Assyrian, by the way, not Akkadian. But it says she is known by the Akkadian Empire, Babylonians, and the Assyrians as Ishtar. Akkadian with this logogram, her primary title was Queen of Heaven. She was the patron deity of Iana temple in the city of Ur, and her whole main cult center. Who was? Inanna was. Now we got the Nana there. But they put an I on the front. But we ain't tripping. We know Nana right there. Ain't nobody stupid. So look. It says in archaic Ur, she was worshiping three forms: morning in Nana, evening in Nana, and princely in Nana, noon. The form 2 reflecting the phases of her associated planet Venus. Crazy enough. Her included the lion and the 8-pointed star. Her husband was the god, blah, blah, blah. But we still see this is from the Akkadian. We just telling you, hold up. They do say that the grove, not El Shaddai, but they're saying that the grove was in Nana. We got to be clear. But we got to show how all this becomes like one thing, and then they carved it all up through their 4 different traditions in the documentation hypothesis. So it says, Inanna was worshiping Sumer at least early as the Uruk period, right? 3100 BC. And her cult activity was relatively localized before the quest of Sargon. During the post-Sargonic era, she became one of the most widely venerated deities in the Sumerian pantheon. All right? Now, what's going to happen? We said earlier that because we didn't really mention Akkadians too much. They mentioned them briefly. But the Akkadians changed Inanna and merged her with a man. Now we see here, it says the temples across Mesopotamia, the cult of Inanna, which may have been associated with various sexual rites, was continued by the Eastern Semitic-speaking people, Akkadians, okay, Assyrians, and Babylonians, who succeeded to absorb the Sumerians in the religion. Assyrians was honored too, who elevated her to become the highest deity in their pantheon, ranked above their own national god, Ashur. So Inanna, y'all thought I made up all the Nana stuff just because they put the it on the front. That's still Nana, but we can prove it. She was especially beloved by the Assyrians, who elevated her. It says Inanna Ishtar is alluded to in the Hebrew Bible, and she greatly influenced the Ugaritic goddess Ashtar. See? So she influenced her, and later the Phoenician goddess Astarte, or whatever, who in turn possibly influenced the development of the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Her cult continued to flourish until the gradual decline between the 1st and 6th century of the wake of Christianity. So let's see if she did get merged with a male deity and then become Sinana. Now they say Inanna's name derives from a Sumerian phrase, Nin-an-ak, Nin-an-ak, meaning Lady of Heaven. But the cuneiform for Inanna is not a ligature of the sign ladies. Sumerian Nin, so you still got the Nin going back in the Sumerian An in cuneiform. These difficulties led some Assyriologists to suggest that Inanna name have been a Proto-Euphratean goddess. So she going back, but hold up with the Inanna. Because as you see, when we go to the Sumerian, the N ain't there. It just starts with the Nin. So it starts with the N. I would rather get back to my document, right? So I says, I'm aware of Ashtar worship is condemned in the Bible. What I propose is that Nana was venerated under the name El Shaddai, a name whose meaning was lost by the time the Kohanim presented their accounts of Genesis. As detailed above, Nana was venerated in Ur of Chaldea, as well as Amaru, where Abraham supposedly sojourned. So if I didn't show that yet, let's go to Sin Nana, right? Sin Nana. Now, why I got all these nanas to show us if this ain't true? Sin Nana. They're saying it don't exist. Here we go. Look. I don't even have to show you. Sin, also known as what? Nana. But see, the reason why we get confused here, because before he was Sin Nana. And again, I ain't reading what this say in Sumerian, but I still see they got the Nana right there. Now, if we go into Sin Nana, let's see if they tell us how he was amalgamated with Inanna to form Sin Nana. Look, they were sometimes combined with the double name Nana Suin. So even the Akkadian deity Sin, who was so big, had got amalgamated into Nana. Sin, also known as Nana, was a Mesopotamian god representing the moon. While these two names originated in two different languages, respectively Akkadian and Sumerian, they telling you right there, they were already used interchangeably to refer to one deity in the early period. So one of them had Sin, one of them had Nana, and then they got merged together. But let's see if they say more about it. They were sometimes combined into one double name, Nana Suin. It says the third well-attested name, Dilim Babar. Additionally, the moon god could be represented by the logogram reflecting lunar characters, blah, 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 blah. And notice here in the Akkadian perspective, Sin was a moon god. But I want to hear more if they say anything about Ishtar. All right, here we go. Let's say something about Inanna. Now, it says the goddess Nagil was regarded as Sin's wife. Their best attested children are Inanna. So this is crazy because what they did was they took Sin, married him, called him Sin Nana, married him to Nagal, and then they said that Inanna was his daughter. But y'all see all of this, and this is happening all in the same area. For example, now, hey, my article's long enough, so let me go back to it. Now here we have Nana in Sumer. Let's see what it said. At a time when the patriarchy began to usurp the preceding matriarchy, the goddess priestess authority in Sumer was relegated and oppressed under the new patriarchal god priest authority. Did I make that up? During this period, many gods took on masculine attributes. The designation of their respective appellations was also relegated or redistributed to masculine deities. This is how the mother goddess Nana became the masculine deity Sin Nana, after which the mother goddess was reinstated but relegated to be the daughter of Sin Nana and Nagil, Inanna, the mother goddess. Inanna was textually venerated circa 4000-3100 BC. It is quite telling that her neo-father, Sin Nana, veneration reached its paramount at about 2600-2400 BC. This is when Sin Nana became father of the gods, creator of all things, etc. As we see prior to this, Nana was venerated independent of Sin. So that can be clear. Let's drop a few more things and I'm going to get ready to just, it's a quick class. The Semitic moon god Sin is in origin a separate deity from the Sumerian Nana. But from the Akkadian Empire period, the two undergo synchronization and are identified. All right? That was just wiki on Sin. Now, here goes Jenny Klein. Most of the surviving records date from the period when the male aspect of the dual sex moon, you hear her? So the moon, which was Sin, did take on a dual sexual nature, like I told you. Most of the surviving records date, I thought it should say dating But most of the surviving records date from this period when, the male aspect of the dual sex moon was already receiving more attention than the female aspect. At this time, the major moon deity was the god Sin, and Nana, or Nanaia, the moon goddess, was his daughter. Now, this is in a book called The Separation of a Woman's Body from the Cosmic Dance. Before any of my connections to Venus figurines are made, Nana is originally considered to be a Sumerian deity. Then is said to be a Semitic or Akkadian. Sumerians appear before Semites. Also, the Sumerian language is a language isolate that preceded Akkadian. The term Nana is a Sumerian loan word to the Akkadian vernacular. This shows how Nana was a Sumerian goddess long before merging with Sin, the Semitic god. Ramesh Chopra lists Nana as a Sumerian virgin goddess in the Academic Dictionary of Mythology. Who is this? It says, Akamba details Nana veneration by the Akan people of Ghana in Revelations in the movement of the Akan people from Canaan to Ghana. Whether you say, that's pseudo, whatever, cool. But he did cite some of that stuff on page 451. In the Encyclopedia of Ancient Deities, Patricia Turner says Nana was the mother goddess. Klein also told how the priestly goddess faction was aggressively replaced by the priest god faction in the beginning of the 3rd millennium BC. She explains that as this aggressive replacement occurred, the dominant god replaced the dominant goddess to justify priests replacing priestesses in all religious authoritative matters. Nana, the masculine perception of the goddess Nana, was venerated in This is true, and we're going to prove it. Abraham would have surely known of the ziggurat of and it contained a shrine to the moon god Nana. So if Abraham was from which we know he wasn't, but if he was from the time periods he said, he would have had to know about Nana. Because she got a ziggurat. Actually, this great ziggurat of that don't really exist, this is just a reproduction, supposedly had a shrine to Nana in it. All right? Let's see. Nana. There we go, right there. The ziggurat was built by Ken Namu, who dedicated its honor to of Nana / Sin in approximately the 21st century BC, right when Abram would have been there, supposedly, if that story was true. You feel me? So what can you say? He would have had to know about Nana. Now let's go back to their story. Remember? Thank you. Abraham and Nana, the goddess with breast. I want to share an excerpt from inhisownimage.com. Check this out. An article in the Jewish Virtual Library discussed the origins of the Amorite names. And I will finish that thought in a minute. But first, a brief explanation of what I mean. Native Americans, for example, have such descriptive names as Crazy Horse or Sitting Bull, of course. Those are English translations of the original Lakota or Sioux words. But you can see what I mean. Europeans did similar things back in times when there were no last names in a village where several guys named John. One might differentiate one if he were a blacksmith by referring to him as John the Smith. which would eventually have been shortened to John Smith, who was single-handedly signed more motel registries than any other man in the world of men, or a man named Carl, whose father was John, might have been known as Carl John's son, or ultimately Carl Johnson, who might name his own son James Carlson. You see how that works? At any rate, the Jewish Virtual Library, hold on, let me pull this up. At any rate, the Jewish Virtual Library remarked that the original language of the Amorites had all but disappeared in written form, but that when they took over Akkadian Mesopotamia, they transliterated their names, employing words, forms, and linguistic usage most closely paralleled in later Western Semitic languages. The site added that the transliterated names were often theophoric, yet I had to look it up too. It means bearing the name of God. It had nothing to do with anything glowing in the dark. He's talking about the term theophorus. And that their names were often combined with the names of deities such as El and Hadad. Do we know anyone like that? Let's see. Samuel, Israel, Ishmael, Ezekiel, Daniel, Joel, Elisha, Elijah. Elijah's folks wanted him to be double sure of sucking up. El is for El Shaddai, as they say right here, and Yah for Jehovah. So they really called him Elijah to get them both in there. But again, this isn't my work. I'm showing you stuff from the Jewish Virtual Library. Back to Abe. It turns out that the Amorite transliteration Ab means father. Ah means brother, and Am means people. There is no word on what R meant. So Abram could translate to father of people. Again, we're in the Akkadian right now. While Abraham could well mean father of brother people. Who knew that? Oh, now he's just pointing out that you can find close translations of these names in languages that preceded the Hebrew. It says Abraham would have had to be completely ignorant of the religions of and Canaan to not know Nana. Let's be clear. He would have had to be completely ignorant of all that. And as we just showed, all of them so-called Hebrew names can translate right back to, I don't want to say Amorite, but to Amorite. In lack of better, to the Amorite language. So it's rather revealing, but everyone would have had to be completely ignorant of religions of and Canaan to not know Nana. And straight to the heart of Genesis 60 bite-sized insights, Phil Moore says, since of Chaldeas was a city dominated by the moon god Nana, even though that we know about the anachronism of Abraham and of Chaldeas, he's just pointing out that he would have had to know about this. Abraham was possibly brought up worshiping the moon in in the temple with his father. So hold on, because he just said Abraham was worshiping Nana. Abraham was worshiping El Shaddai in so many words. Out of everything that we get from all of this research. Joshua 24:2 says, and Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old times, even Terah, the father of Abraham and the father of Nahor. They served other gods. We know that they said that they served other gods, but I'm showing you who the gods was. All right. Terah and Nahor may have worshipped Nana as a male deity. But the Bible also hints to how Abraham followed Nana as El Shaddai, the mother goddess. The Bible reads that Yahweh told Abram to leave his father's land in Genesis 12:1. After his journey, Abram settled in Shechem. Remember this. Check this out. Look how this happened. He settled in Shechem. Shechem was in Amorite control. Let's go to Genesis 48:22. See? So I'm telling you now y'all didn't even know what, look. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above the brethren, which I took out of the land of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. What is took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Moreover, I have given to you rather than to your brothers one mountain slope. Interesting. We're talking about El Shaddai. Shad is a mountain. And there's two mountain slopes right in the area that look like breasts. Moreover, I have given to you rather than your brothers one mountain slope that I took from the hand of the Amorites with my sword and with my bow. So Shechem was under Amorite control. And I'm going to prove it some more. Genesis 48, Shechem took from the Amorites Moreh. It's also said to be the Amorite oak tree. Let's go look at Genesis 12:6. Oh, that's the New International. Abraham traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh in Shechem. So that's checkmate. Hold on. Y'all don't know why it's checkmate yet. Because look, a God came to him and said, get up out of there, who your father and them worshiping, and go someplace. He started going, and he found himself by this tree of Moreh in Shechem. Now look, a key point, there is not one instance in the Hebrew Bible where God was called El Shaddai before Abraham reached Shechem. Amaru. Boy. Imagine being on the other side of this research talking about you about to debate me and refute this. There was not one instance in the Hebrew Bible where God was called El Shaddai before Abram reached Shechem. I had fun saying that, Shechem. Hey, I need to see something in the chat. I know I'm teaching, but we need to see some chat activity. All right? Now you about to learn something. I inject that this is where Abram finally venerated the goddess Nana. Genesis 17:1. Let's see if I'm all over the place or if I'm doing it right. Genesis 17:1, where they want you to go into the King James Version. So the New King James Version or the King James Version? Like, how that work? You feel me? King James Version. What's the difference? Is the New King James? Is the New King James Version LeBron James Version? Now it's like right here. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, first of all, how many of y'all gonna live to 90 years old and 9? So why would God wait 100 years? 100 years. Abraham ain't got too many good days left. And this fool walking all the way hella far at 99. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am the Almighty God. See, this is what happened. The Lord, remember, Almighty God is a mistranslation. It says, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be thou perfect. It is because Nana was the feminine aspect of the god Sin before Nana was ever a masculine Semitic god. The principle of duality was realized and Nana became Sin Nana Bel Shade. Abraham, Bel Shade, that's it. Y'all remember Bel Shade is the Amorite version of El Shaddai. Bel Shade is the Amorite version of El Shaddai. It means the same thing. But it says, it means similar things. To Abram, Bel Shade became El Shaddai, as Harriet Lupsky and others point out. At the root of Shaddai, we find breast, which connotes Nana's heavy breast. Now look. Nana's shrine in the ziggurat of Ur, biblical contradictions about God, about the God of the fathers, Yahweh supposedly not revealing his name, the etymology of Shaddai alluding to breast, Abraham sojourned in Shechem near the city of Shaddai, which I'll prove next. Abraham sojourned in Shechem near the city of Shaddai. And Nana's figurines depicting her heavy breast as is far much to overlook when questioning whether or not Abraham knew of the Amorite god of Shaddai, Bel Shade. Now check this out. Shaddai, the city. Shaddai was also an Amorite city. This is the most checkmate in your life. It's over after I read this. Nothing more to say. Shaddai was also an Amorite city. That's what people didn't know. Today called Tel Eth Tarim. That literally means the ruined site of the two breasts. See, if we knew this, then we could say, oh, okay. The ruined site of the two breasts. Here is what Wikipedia says about Shaddai, the city, and El Shaddai. Shaddai was a late Bronze Age Amorite city. I repeat, Shaddai was a late Bronze Age Amorite city. El is an Amorite term. El Shaddai would be the god of Shaddai. But we're going to break it down. El Shaddai was a late Bronze Age Amorite city on the banks of the Euphrates River. In northern Syria, as well as the name, or a signifying epithet of a Western Semitic deity, whose name was attached by the Hebrews to that of El as one of the names of God in Judaism. It has been conjectured that El Shaddai was therefore God of Shaddai. Now, if I take Tel, Eth, Tarim, and put it in Google, one of my articles is going to pop up first, and then we're going to start seeing, well, I don't know about first. Yep, no, not first. So now you can go right here. Tel Eth Tarim is a tell, a mound, or a old, not a mound, but a, look, a tell is what? A mound. Yeah, I was right. A tell in Syria. The name means tell of the what? Two breast. In Arabic, and it has been speculated that in the Amorite language, it was called Shaddai. Man, y'all be messing that up. So y'all took El Shaddai from the Amorite, stole him, slapped him in the Bible, amalgamated him with Yahweh, and didn't know why Yahweh all of a sudden had titties. Excuse my language. Had two breasts. Excuse my language. Had two breasts. Dang. See, if you would have knew this would have summer jammed somebody. That I found. Now, guess what else I did in my work? I found out that Shaddai was right by the Moreh tree in Shechem, where Abraham supposedly sat down when El Shaddai came to him. Dude, I'm not making this up. You see it all on the screen. So now that we learned that Shaddai was actually a place in Amorite land, now we see, I read to you why the Amorite language had all these L's on their name. El this, El that. El Shaddai. The God of Shaddai, and by default, the God with the two breasts. For two breasts and Shaddai. Now, it keeps saying citation needed, but I just showed y'all all the citations. I cite them on point. Harriet Lutsky, William F. Albright, David Bialy, all of these scholars, and F.M. Cross. And William F. Albright is not no punk with the Akkadian and stuff. Now, look, and Shaddai meaning what? My breast. Note that this word does not double the D, whatever. Okay, this one don't double the D. It has been speculated that it is the site of the Bronze Age city Tiltu or whatever, Tiltu, because Tiltu means two breasts in the Sumerian language, though that's not accepted. All right, so right here they're telling you, hold up, Shaddai was a place. But you could go further with Tel El Tarim and start looking on the map. See, that's how I gets it in, right? So you want to go look at where this is at right now. And when you do your own research and find out this is right next to Shechem, you're going to be like, oh, man, they said Abraham sat down next to a tree, a Moreh tree in Shechem. Let me see if I can find it. See if it say anything about Shechem. Wait a minute. Oh, somebody already writing about it right here. Look. 2018, cracking the codes in Genesis 1:6. Oh, I gotta read this. My article was written way before this. Let's go see when I wrote my article. This is 2013. So ain't no way I got my article from their article. But let's see what they say. Cracking the codes in Genesis 1:6. This is just a person building on the same thing. But let's see what he say real quick. I can't read this whole thing that quick. I'm not even going to do that. So now, what we do have is evidence that, hold on, if Shaddai was a place, it has been conjectured that El Shaddai was therefore the God of Shaddai. Now, El Shaddai as a goddess in the Hebrew Bible, I'm aware that over time, be fruitful and multiply became a blessing that a male deity would bestow. Anyone who wanted to refute my next assertion could find plenty of instances where be fruitful and multiply could not be considered a blessing of a goddess. But in the Genesis context, this was a blessing of El Shaddai. Fertility blessings like be fruitful and multiply concerned bringing forth offspring for generations. Now let's examine the Genesis account. 28:3. And God Almighty, which is El Shaddai, bless thee and make thee fruitful. This is a feminine blessing. And make thee fruitful and multiply. A man can't make you multiply until you get into some pseudo magic. Make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou may be a multitude of people. That is fertility that can do that. Let's go to Genesis 35 and 11. And God said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. Have intercourse. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of the loins. Your loins. She ain't got no loins. She telling you be fruitful and multiply. Genesis 43:14. Y'all think this is a man? This is why I don't want no man talking to me like that. Genesis 43:14. And God and El Shaddai give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So what is this about? Being bereaved of children? Bereaved. Yes, this is about being bereaved. Not having the mugs, but taking them away.
Bereaved.
Oh, through their death. So is that fertility? That's anti-fertility, huh? That's like you know what I'm saying, but it ain't going into like, well, let me just not say certain things. Let's go to the next one. The word used in the Masoretic text for bereave is Strong's shakol. It means to make childless, like a miscarry. That's what I said more properly. Okay? Genesis 49:25. Even by the God of thy father, that's one God, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty. This Almighty is El Shaddai. That's two gods right there. If that ain't two gods, y'all tripping. Either, even, and, but you even gonna get slapped by Pookie, and you're gonna get slapped by Big Mike. Is that one slap or two? Even by the God of the Father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee. So they're going to do two different things. The God of the Father is going to help thee, but El Shaddai is going to bless thee with the blessings of the heaven above, blessings of the deep that underlie the life under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. So a man can give you blessings of the breast. I feel no need to point out how the blessings of the breast and the womb is a feminine blessing given by El Shaddai, the God with breasts, the goddess. El Shaddai, Bel-Shai, retained the feminine aspect. This is why El Shaddai in the Bible could be considered a goddess in spite of the fact that the priestly account made attempts to bury the matriarchy. These biblical accounts contradict so much that no matter how much one says Yahweh was the no matter how much one says Yahweh was the El Shaddai of Genesis, the Bible will contradict it. Because Exodus is after Genesis, and it says right here, and I appeared unto Abram and to Isaac and to Jacob by the name of the God Almighty, by the name El Shaddai. But my name Jehovah was not known to them. I not known to them. So you weren't known to them as Jehovah, so they ain't know nothing about no Jehovah. They only knew El Shaddai. Somebody came later and said that that was the same thing. Exodus 6:3 clearly supports my contention that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not know Yahweh. Genesis 17:3 lets us know Abraham did not know El Shaddai. The God of the fathers was actually the mother goddess. The deities mentioned in the Bible in connection with Sarah and Abraham are the gods of the fathers and Shaddai. You hear this? Y'all thought I made this up? It's all over books. The deities mentioned in the Bible in connection with Sarah and Abraham are the God of the fathers and Shaddai. I have demonstrated in great detail in reinstating the divine woman in Judaism that the God of the fathers was originally a goddess of the mothers. The connection with and Haran suggests that she was the female moon Nana, the dominant deity there in the third millennium. So she's saying everything I'm saying. She's saying that the Bible was talking about Nana. And this book is the battle between the moon and sun, the separation of women's bodies from the cosmic dance. So there I conclude, and I can just conclude here live. Hold on. And hold on. My conclusion is not much to it. After you see that presentation, I mean, I'm not saying anything definitive or authoritative. You would have to look at what I presented and say, yo, man, there was a lot of evidence in what he just showed us to substantiate his claims. That when we see El Shaddai into the Bible, giving out all these feminine blessings, and we see the geographic orientation of when Abraham even told us El Shaddai stepped to him. He's sitting under a moray tree in Shechem, really close to the city of Shaddai. It would be hard for one to argue that these things aren't true. Look, I need some lip lotion. My mouth's dry. Where y'all at? Let me look at the chat. So what do we say about that? It appears that in some of the earliest times, veneration was reserved for the woman. I'm gonna put a link up to see if anybody want to build on this subject. I know I'm gonna get a lot of contention. I'm not about to defend my stance because this ain't a debate. If somebody wanted to debate it, we can set that up. But I would just let somebody present their contentions, and try to do what it do. Yeah, so Yahweh got turned into El Shaddai by the priestly tradition. He wasn't originally that. Like, it wasn't nobody who said that. I just read all the sources. Abraham didn't even know no Yahweh. None of them knew a Yahweh. Only somebody came afterwards and said, hey, look, that God they was worshiping, that was Yahweh. But in his life, he was 99 years old. He was worshiping the gods of his father. Hey, now I got my camera off just on GP, but if y'all don't mind when y'all come in, at least starting with your camera on so we can know who we building with, and then you can do whatever you need to do for the privacy sake. But on Silent TV, we just don't let people in without the camera. Thank you. Thank you. I see my brother. I am trying to, I think I saw you trying to turn your camera on now, but it's still off. But you can just go like that, like we do. Oh, your camera all black? I don't know if that's going to work. Bro, what's good? Okay, so what's up?
Hey, peace. I just wanted to get an understanding. Are you calling the creator a female or I was
Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Not necessarily. I'm saying as we follow the stories prescribed in the Bible, we found out that there was some type of amalgamation, taking all multiple things and making them into one. And I'm saying one of the things that they took and made into one, they turned it into an attribute of Yahweh. They said that was, El Shaddai got turned into an attribute of Yahweh. And they say it's another epithet, just a nickname, another way to call the creator. But what we can find in extra biblical sources is that these entities existed on their own without being epithets for Yahweh. So I will be saying that if you was following along, then they would have to acknowledge the femininity in what we have mistranslated as the Almighty God. It does indicate femininity, but it would not be. It would just be one of the epithets for the creator. For how
okay. So what is epithet? How are you using that? What they working?
Epithet is just like a title or a nickname, but not just like a nickname. It's like a name that exudes more attributes, other attributes. Like an epithet, like John the Great or
Okay.
Mike. Yeah.
Okay. So, but don't men have a nourishing aspect of them? Just a regular human male who's a father.
Honestly, I would say not
But
so
that don't,
truly.
huh?
Not necessarily and not so truly. Not even. I'm just saying we do father and nurture, right? But I'm just saying primarily that ain't what we're here for. I mean, we are most primary. I mean, just look at most male animals, right? Not even humans. Most of their
Yeah, but
function
I'm not.
is to protect.
I'm just dealing with humans right now. I
Okay.
understand that there's an animal world, but I'm saying like men.
Oh, let's just talk
If
with humans.
Yeah, men, just men. I'm saying men who have children, they have to have some type of nourishing aspect of them, or they're not gonna raise good
Definitely.
children. Train,
Definitely,
But
but
that don't
notice
make him.
one
But that don't make him a female, though.
You're right. You're 100% correct. But there are actual hormones and chemicals that a man cannot provide an infant baby, and it comes out of breast milk. And so that's the
Yeah, right.
truest. But
Okay.
real quick,
Okay, but
that is the truest nourishment, because if a child doesn't get that, it does not develop into a toddler.
right. No one. I don't think no one would disagree with that part. I mean, if they do. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So men are not designed to have breast milk and stuff like that, but they are designed to be caring, loving, compassionate, and things of that
100%.
nature.
100%. But you got to realize the text literally says the blessing of the breast. And in no way that
Okay,
we
say
can
that again
see
now.
the Bible, I think it's Exodus 49 and 25, literally says the blessing of the breast. And so if we would try to figure out what that was, we'd be hard pressed to think that a man's breast does any type of blessing. The blessing of the
Okay.
breast is the nourishment which is wired into the body of the mother that comes out through breast milk, which helps a child
Okay.
flourish.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to make sure you said what step that was Genesis what now?
I think it was 49 and 25. Let me look that. I mean 49, 25. Let me look it up. I'm gonna read it. Gen 49, 25. It says, may the God of your father help you. May the Almighty bless you with the blessing of the heavens above. Now remember, the Almighty here is El Shaddai. It says, bless you with the blessing of the heaven above, the blessing of the watery depths below, the blessings of the breast and the womb. Now, that's fine. You can say, yeah, man, could give you the blessings of the breast and of the womb, but how? He's going to take a woman and you know what I'm saying? What they were talking about physically was the physical blessing of the breast, which is nourishment, and the blessing of the womb, which is fertility.
Okay, so can you read that again without interpreting it?
Yep. I'm going to go right to the KJV and let you just hear it.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah, just for a second.
But I do recognize that you're saying that the Almighty is El Shaddai. I got that.
Yeah, that Almighty is El Shaddai by translation. That
okay,
was
I got you. So
King James version that told us that meant Almighty. Let me share.
Okay, no problem. So no worries. So what does the King James version say though? Without
so everybody can see it. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb.
Okay, now who is he talking to?
I think it was Jacob or one of the brothers that he was talking to, one of the forefathers that he was talking to at the time. I can't remember, but
okay, so was he talking
Jacob
to
or Joshua? Let's go to the full chapter.
Yeah, I think he was talking to Israel, right?
Yeah, Jacob. Actually, Jacob. It was Jacob.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, 49. So I don't think.
Keep going.
Okay, go ahead.
It's on you. My bad.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the Most High can do that for humans because we humans. So he is our source. He is the one that's going to bless the womb, the women who got wombs. He's going to bless them to have good breasts, and have good breast milk for the kids. That's basically what that scripture is talking about right there. That Jacob and his descendants was going to be blessed, as long as they walk with the Most High.
Well, you know what? I could challenge that etymologically, philologically, and linguistically right now. Because look, nowhere in the Bible do Yahweh ever do any of this. Yahweh get jealous. He get mad. He got some wild characteristics. But every time we hear breast and womb, the word is written El Shaddai. So the challenge would be to go into the Bible and find when Yahweh do something like this. Every time we get this type of fertility, the majority, I don't want to be absolute, the majority of the time that we get these type of fertility blessings, I think I read the majority of them in the beginning of the book, the presentation, they come from, it says the Almighty will do this. And if we take what the Almighty is saying in the Hebrew, it literally says El Shaddai will do this. So we have some consistency with the alleged femininity of the Almighty and how they use it textually, and they never do that with Yahweh.
So let me ask you this: so you're saying El Shaddai? How do you say that word means? Because you're saying it means what now? El Shaddai means what?
I'm saying that breast is, the root of Shaddai, and El just means the deity or a God as we know it. If you see earlier in the presentation, we pointed out how there's actually a location right next to Shechem where Abraham learned about El Shaddai. That's when El Shaddai came to Abram under a Moreh tree in Shechem. Well, next to Shechem is literally the city called Shaddai. And this is in Amorite territory. The Bible tells us that, and El Shaddai was actually an Amorite deity of the city of Shaddai.
All right, so El Shaddai. Now, how are you saying that word means though? I just want to know the brief. What we know what El means. So what does Shaddai means again?
So Shad right now in Hebrew is a breast. Now
Okay. Okay.
if you and so then if you put
So
ayin at the end, it makes it plural.
okay, I have
Shaddai,
no problem. Yeah,
Shaddai.
that's not an issue. That's not an issue. That translation is not necessarily the best one that someone could have picked, but it's not wrong either. Sometimes the
Well,
translators.
you got a better one because I'm standing on a lot of scholastic work. So if you got a different
Well,
definition
no,
for
I don't have a
God,
problem with the. I think I like Almighty, but El Shaddai do just as well because it means the same thing. It's the same being. It's the same entity or the same God.
can you see
Uh,
the screen? Can you see the screen?
yeah, I can look at
Oh, let
see
me
it a
see.
little bit. If you could blow it up, if you can make it
Hold on.
bigger.
Yeah, I gotta reshare it so you can see some stuff because I'm. It's fine that you like that one translation, but I provided a source in my presentation, a well qualified source, and I'm about to show it on the screen to see if you are going to maintain that after we see what the scholars say. And so it was from the New Jerusalem Biblical Standard Edition that says translating El Shaddai as God Almighty is inaccurate. We can pull that up and look, and if we're going to accept that they say that's inaccurate, then we have to say, okay, well, we can't say that we like Almighty because it was given through us through our religious tradition. But when we do biblical scholarship, it starts to fall apart. So here it is. And I'm about to make this bigger. This is a quote from the
Okay,
New
yeah,
Jerusalem.
you
Yeah.
kind of breaking up though. Yeah, you
Oh,
kind of breaking
no,
up.
that's your side
But
breaking up. That's your side breaking up. I got a wired connection. Hopefully, that's not my side. But I just heard your phone breaking up. But can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I mean, I wasn't talking, so it wasn't me breaking up.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, no,
But
but you could your reception of me could have been breaking up. So here it goes. Translate. All right. Well, let's just ask the
okay,
audience: am I breaking up, you guys? Can you guys hear me clearly or not? Because I don't want to proceed without you guys being able to not hear me. So let me know if I can be heard clear. But or you can tell me whether you clear now too, if you can hear me now.
yeah, you clear now.
But okay, cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you clear now.
So right. Oh, thank you. So it says right here. And again, this is just a quote I took out of the book so that we can see it, but the source is here. This is the New Jerusalem Bible Standard Edition telling us that translating El Shaddai as Almighty God is inaccurate. So now, again, we can maintain that we like Almighty God for El Shaddai, but it's starting to become scholastically incorrect because we have a body of scholars that tell us it don't mean that. You see what I mean? And
Okay, but
so,
just yeah, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that both of those are correct. Both of those translations is correct. It's all about which one people prefer to use in that sense, and what was the purpose of the intent of the translators translating it in one way and then another translator translating in another way. And that's not an issue with me. I'm
but
saying that the
just
Most
real
High,
quick,
He is the
before you proceed, but because you
yeah,
started by saying they're both correct, but that's not what the
yeah.
source said. The source contradicts the diction of the source is against what you're saying. It says
No,
translating
that no, the
El
source that
as it's inaccurate, and you
that
saying
source
it's
may
good.
say is incorrect, but you got other sources who they would not say that that's incorrect,
All right,
and that's what I'm
so
saying. Because if it's incorrect, it wouldn't be in no translation. If it's just incorrect like that. So what I'm saying is one translator says it is correct, and then another translator may say it's not correct. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Is they both are correct in my opinion. From studying the
well,
scriptures,
I don't know how that could be the case,
it's
but let's
all
just
about
say
now.
this.
So now it comes down to how is one going to interpret that. That's what it comes down to. Which way are we going to interpret it, and which
Nah,
definition we're going to use for
I
that?
kind of disagree. I have to disagree because when you have a source, a body of scholars, or scholastics, these are ecclesiastical dignitaries. The New Jerusalem Biblical Standard Edition isn't put together just by any old body who's
I'm
just like
agreeing
this.
with that.
Yeah,
Notice,
so
hey,
I'm saying, but if
I
you're
agree with
saying
you.
that
I'm saying
we can go past this and say, well, it's two ways to describe it. They're telling you one of the two ways is inaccurate. That's what it's
Right.
saying.
I'm saying that body, those particular people, if I can't really see that well, but if they're saying it's incorrect, what I'm saying is that there's other scholars who saying that's not incorrect. You feel me? That's
Yeah, I
all I'm
definitely
saying. So
feel you.
scholars
I
don't always
definitely
agree with
feel
each
you.
other, and that's fine. That's cool. But what I'm saying is that as an Israelite, I'm an Israelite. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Jew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as a Jew, I'm saying that the Most High is the all-breasted one, and not in a sense of having feminine breasts, but He is the one that provides us all nourishment, whether it be through food or through our mother, or through agriculture or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's saying. I
I'm
mean,
with
that's what
that.
that's saying.
So look, I'm with the fact that the theology has developed into that. I'm totally with that. But we are, in a sense of literary criticism and biblical studies, we're simply doing textual criticism to see how they arrived at these points. You see what I'm saying? Like right now,
Yeah, I agree with that. But we are so what I'm saying is I have the right through the power of God to do textual criticism as well, not just those scholars who supposedly translated that or tried to translate it. You see what I'm saying?
that's
So
what
what
we're
I'm
doing
saying is
right now.
I know. So I'm saying those guys, they don't have the absolute authority on the scriptures. For one, they probably wasn't Israelites. And then we got to get what the Most High is actually saying. We got to find out what the Most High is really saying in
See?
those scriptures.
So
You
you know
see,
what
we,
happens,
we,
brother? Because you said they probably weren't Israelites. So now you're taking
they
some
probably was.
theological, but you're taking a theological stance at some. For instance, imagine if we were in Stanford University in a biblical studies class. There is
Mhm.
certain theological stance that you can't take to answer questions. Meaning it's kind of like the
Well,
God of the gaps, or it's kind of like even the miss.
I like what
For
you're saying.
instance, yeah, if you're going to say the reason why their research isn't authoritative because they're not Israelites, that don't got nothing. You can't say that in a biblical studies university. That's like a theological answer. And so, why would you really discredit their research? Besides saying that you have more connection to God than them, if they are
Okay,
a
I got you. So, because those scriptures were specifically written for the nation of Israelites or Israel, and he said he gave his commandments unto Israel and his judgments unto Israel. He don't know those other nations like that, and he didn't give
so
the law. He didn't give the law and the light to those nations, so they don't really have the authority to actually. I mean, they don't have the authority to. They don't have more authority than the righteous Israelites who understand what that scripture is really saying. And no, they don't. And I know
See,
that's not maybe
that's all
theologically correct in the
theological.
eyes of
Yeah, yeah.
that might not be correct in the eyes of their seminary schools, but who cares?
But still, your statement and the underlying. Can you dialogue with this? And that's not the way I'm saying it. You have to. We have to consciously allow ourselves to dialogue on the subject without using our theology to answer the questions. Because if we do, you see what I'm saying? You're gonna just answer everything well with God, and the Lord, and then we're not going to make any academic progress. Like for
Well,
instance, go ahead.
we do making progress because I already said that there would be some of those scholars who have been taught by Israelites or who their ancestors were taught by Israelites, should I say? Uh, and and so some of those scholars would say, okay, the way I'm saying it and the way I'm interpreting that passage of scripture is correct. And then you got other scholars who would disagree with that. So I'm still work. I was still what I'm still in agreement with, or they in agreement and harmony with what I'm saying. Some scholars will be, and then some scholars would not be. So
But
I'm taking on the I accept the scholars who agree with what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? That's like seeing somebody get whooped on the corner and he did a really good job defending himself, and then saying, well, I know there's other people who can beat him up, right? But they ain't there. For instance, what I mean is, who are those scholars? See what I mean? Like, if I'm presenting the New Jerusalem Bible Standard Edition just as a start. Now, if you have a scholar that contradicts this since 1985, then we can see why that scholar is saying, nah, El Shaddai is God Almighty. But I didn't only present one scholar. I went through a list of them from Harriet Lutsky to William F. Albright, David Bialy, F.M. Cross. These are all biblical scholars who seem to say,
Oh,
hold on.
okay. Well, if you want to do it from, see, you do interpretation of scriptures. I don't do interpretation of scriptures like that. I don't. But I mean, if you want to do it like that, you can. I mean, other people do it like that too, and still can arrive to the same conclusion that I just mentioned. That is the Almighty Creator right there. That El Shaddai is the Almighty Creator. But then, but I don't like to try to endorse what I say by those scholars that do agree with me. I don't need the endorsements.
I could do right on
Me
the screen.
personally.
I could give you a dilemma that, and it's not like trying to jam you up. It's trying to get to your understanding of how you can say that. So we're gonna go back to Genesis 49 and 25. And how could
Okay,
you
let me go get
say?
my book. Let me get one of my.
Okay,
Let me get one of my. Let me get the Tanakh. I got a Tanakh. Let me get the Tanakh and see what it
it's
says.
all good.
And
It's all
I'm
good.
listening though. Go ahead.
All right, I'm about to grab a better version so people could be like, that's just on his excuse me, Genesis 49, right? And then 25. Now, we read this earlier. It would take, I mean, we're forcing this to be in one God. It says, even by the God of the Father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty. So let's just stop right there. You're saying that's the same God? First of all, we already know in the Bible they say the God of the Father was different. But right now, just by the grammar, we can go all into the Hebrew. It says even and. Let's go into the Hebrew. Let's get the biblical version. Because they're clearly telling you a statement that, look, let's go into it'll be better to go into the Hebrew, actually. Because I don't think that and is there. All right, so I'm gonna go blue letter. Gotta figure out how to get my mic away from the keyboard because that mug, I know it'll be sounding hella loud in the show. But now what we want to see is King James Version. Then we're gonna go into the tools. Now let's see what's up. I know that and ain't there, right? And oh my God, now y'all get y'all heads beat. The literal and is actually there. Eighth means and. That connects two things together: a car and a bike. A guy. So if it says right here as we're reading it, let's read it. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee at. At is and. Now it says and Shaddai. At Shaddai. You telling me that's the same person? Why is it saying and Shaddai Barak bless and Shaddai Barak bless Barak the blessings? Who shall bless thee with the blessings? Barakah Shaddai Shamayim of heaven, whatever. Shamayim. I ain't trying to say I read Hebrew like that. But the blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, and blessings of the breast. Shad, right here. Now it say Barak Shad. That's blessings of the breast. Shad. Now look, that's the Shad from Shaddai. So right here, what I'm pointing out is that Strong's H845 is F, which means and. If we click on and, everybody know what and means. I mean, but let's just see them show us what it means since we act like you could say John and John. My name is John. You can't say John and John is gonna help me. You don't use the and to connect the same thing together. And literally means with, near, together with, together with. So if God is gonna bless thee with the God of the Father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee? Tell me how that's one individual. I don't know if you're speaking or but go ahead.
What's
You
your
got the
question
floor.
again?
So I hope you heard my breakdown about the and that we just looked at. That is F. So and is connecting these two deities together. They're not the same one. If I have to show it again, we can see that it clearly says and right here. Look.
Okay, what verse was that?
49 25. Now look, it says and. Now we looked at what and meant, and it means together with. So that means when we go back to this verse, it says, even by the God of the Father who shall help thee, together with the Almighty who shall bless thee. Tell me where I'm confusing that.
Genesis 49 and
25. How I know this better than you? You're supposed to know it off the head. You an Israelite? I'm not an Israelite. I'll never be an Israelite. And that God left me out. So let's chill off that. I know I don't seem like a bad person. So why would that God leave me out? Like he's just the God of Israel. Hold on. I could have wanted to be
well,
Israel, but what if I wasn't born Israel? So
uh,
I'm doomed. I'm doomed.
well, that's a whole nother subject, but to make it brief answer to that, the Most High has his chosen. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He the creator. He has the right to choose
All right.
who he choose.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to just gallop you. You could because I got hella questions and I'm glad you're here to answer this. Until you tell us about this and
Yeah.
why this and that means together with is separating these two deities, it wouldn't grammatically make no sense if whoever wrote this thought that that was one person.
Well, actually, that depends. Everybody has a different writing style. It's not. It's not always a clear cut way where you got to write something.
Yeah, you're right.
So
But we still got to use the words the way they're intended the most of the time. Like if you say, and she about to come over here, you told me something she was going to do before you said, and she about to come over. It don't work. You can't just say, and she about to come over if you didn't tell me something she did before the and, because it's an addition. It goes together with the previous statement. You
right.
see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. So what I'm trying to find that verse because oh
Man, I don't think you're ready, fam. One of the reasons why I get along really good with Hebrews is because my name is Jonathan. And that do mean, I know some of them look deep into that. That means given by Yah. I ain't really came out. I only defended hard for Kemet, but I like these builds because I really respect how strong y'all believe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all might jump off a cliff for Yahweh. And I'm like, man, them
well, hold
boys
on.
believe it.
Let me ask you a question though, because you said you're not an Israelite.
Nah, I'm definitely not. I'm an Africanite.
That's not a nationality, but that's okay. I understand what you're saying.
Israelite ain't either. They made that up. Come on, bruh. Like they
What?
made all of this stuff up, though. Just
Okay,
be
wait a minute.
fair to
But
each
what
other.
I'm saying
They
is,
made up
according to
African and they made up Israelite.
well, no. Israelite is in the script. Africa is not in the script. African is not in
All
the
right.
script.
But I mean, Israelite is in the script of question, is what I'm saying. It's not like in history, it's in the script. Israelite appears to us in the history on the Mar in Patah stele, giving us about 21st century. I mean, not 21st century, 21st dynasty-ish, maybe 20th, 21st dynasty. That is when we first get this term Israel, right?
I got you,
Right?
bro. I
So,
got you. What I'm
but
saying is,
feel me real quick,
so
real quick. Well, let me end this out. Say
okay.
that we get this term at that time period. That mean that everybody before that, God wasn't the God of them? Like he's only the God of Israel, and this term only comes to the earth at this particular time period. So everybody who you was just born before that happened. God wasn't your God.
No, you know you got some things. You got you. There's some things that I don't think you got clear. with it's especially through your. I can tell by your questions because
Yeah, break it down. Go ahead, break it down.
you said the God of Israel. Okay, the God of Israel existed before Israel even existed, but he wasn't called the God of Israel because Israel was not around yet. So he was called the
All
God.
right.
So he was
So who
called
was it then?
Isaac, right? And before then, he was around before Isaac, so he was called the God of Abraham. And he was around before Abraham. He was called the God of Shem. You see what I'm saying? You get it? So
Totally, I'm with that, and
it's the
I'm with
same
you right
God.
there. So, but
It's the
are you
same
feeling
God. It's
that?
just
Go ahead.
it's the same Creator. It's just now is dealing with people. Those people are now alive or existing at that time, or their descendants are existing. So now he can say, okay, now I'm not just the God of Shem anymore. I'm not just the God of Shem. I'm also the God of Abraham, Melchizedek, and so forth.
See, it is. They think that the people who wrote these earlier scripts was already under the impression that it was henotheistic, and they knew the God of Israel was they God, but it was other ones that existed to them, and they was like this verse is more better explained by that. It says, even by the God of the Father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee. So trip off this. Trip off this. The Almighty ain't gonna help thee. The Almighty is just going to bless thee, but the God of the Father is going to help thee. Even by the God of the Father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee. So they even serving two separate functions. But I hear what you're saying. I gotta kind of somebody else come in the chat too, so y'all can dialogue because I gotta run to the restroom just out the clear blue. I've been sitting here drinking hella water. I'm gonna take a little break. Hopefully, somebody else click the link and keep the build going. I don't want you to go nowhere. I'm interested in this build, and this is real hot. But I'm gonna play a song real quick, the same song. Matter of fact, the God Killer song is way too appropriate right now. I'll
Also,
be right.
while you're doing that, can you? Forgive me, man. Can you give me that scripture one more time? I can barely see your screen.
It's 42:25 Genesis. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, 42.
No, it's 49. It's 49:25.
49. Okay.
If you ain't Sinetta, no time for that interview, dog. I put my shit out for niggas, I don't send it to blogs. Clan killer off the Buddha, not being discreet. One puff, this big pops and projectile. Sun run, cold game, bring your cleats. The best flow blow, Eskimo, penguin feet. Don't need no blunt to burn. You run the turf with 10 niggas on the block. That's a punt return. Ayo, Dolomite prototype soldier with the solar light. Saber and he hold it like he hold a mic. Golden ice spenders. Sipping on that overpriced poltergeist spirits. Ripping at the open mic, spoke the nice lyrics like Mama moved mean overnight. Golden motorbike holding on some Tron shit. That nice neon kit is on it. The king's libation with exotic liqueur. The queen's vibration like a Sada Shakur. A lot of decor, imported foreign threads, they ain't got it to store. Nubian Kush, black top pottery jars, 39% THC, the quality pure. Old rappers try to spit, ain't hot as before. It's like I'm 5 flights above, busting shots at the floor. Cats switch up their style when they ain't got it no more, cause they gotta keep their product in stores to feed their kids. See what that weed did? The yes man agreeing on everything we said. I smell the mic like it's the love of my life. Don't get sliced and beat with the butt of the knife. Brother polite, I say I'm animalistic, cause I still be in the hood with my hand on my pistol. The Hebrews think
All right, we back. What's up? You see the verse, man. It was all on the screen. It's not just this one. It's multiples in here that make you say, hold on. Actually, I will ask you, why is the God of Israel not even the most powerful God in the Bible?
Okay, you asking me that, my friend?
As we read the literature, it appears that the God of Israel is not even the most powerful God in the Bible.
Well, that's not true, but I don't know how you
it
come.
It might not be true in real life, of course. Like if you under the theological interpretation, of course he's the all omnipresent, and he's everything. But if we're just criticizing the literature and the way that it was written, and we weren't given our theological perspective, you can clearly see that there was deities in the Bible that Yahweh couldn't mess with. He couldn't do nothing about them. So all he did was ask his people not to worship him. Think about that.
Okay.
Why you gotta ask people not to worship him? Free will ain't real.
Interesting.
So he asked them not to worship. Or go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know. You just said a lot of things but so I don't know what to deal with. I don't know what you want me to deal with.
Well, I'm gonna give you some more to deal with. Look, this guy right here, Molech. Yahweh can't do nothing about him. Not
Molech?
one. Yeah, Molech. Yahweh can't do nothing about him, and he didn't prevail over Molech one time in the Bible, nor did the Israelites.
Okay, but the god of Molech, he lets the idol god Molech exist so people can decide to choose life or either choose death, man, or to choose idols or to choose the real true God. So
that ain't what happened, though.
It's not that you can't eliminate Molech.
But that ain't what happened in the Bible, is what I'm saying. You saying that as your interpretation. Let's read this. So when people pass through the fire to Molech, or they made a sacrifice to Molech, they put hands on Israel all the time. Now, here's in Leviticus 18:21, it says, "And thou shalt not let any of your seeds pass through the fire to Molech." First of all, he just giving you a rule because he ain't going to do nothing to Molech. He telling people, don't go mess with other dude. If you the guy, go smash out Molech so he don't exist no more, so we don't even have to trip. But he didn't have the power to do that. And thou shalt not let any of thy seeds pass through the fire to Molech, neither shall thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. So he like, Molech ain't the Lord, but trip. Here go Leviticus 20. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seeds unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. So hold on. This is not choosing death. They saying they gonna kill you if you do it. And the people of the land shall stone him. They like, get rid of dude. Why? Because he gonna get powerful. But watch this. Leviticus 20. Here it go again. If anybody do something with Molech, but watch what happened when people start doing stuff with Molech. Here it go again. And if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man, they give their seed to Molech and kill him not. So he really tripping off this one deity hella bad. Now let's watch out what happened when they start doing it. It says, then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, or whatever, Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of the city. Let's keep reading. And for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, and likewise he did it for all his strange wives, which burn incense and sacrifice unto their God. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which he appeared unto him twice. This dude can't do nothing about Molech, but get angry with Solomon because his heart, or it says, and commanded him to concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he keep not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said to Solomon, for so much. So he really tripping like, hold on, you didn't went over to Molech. Come back, come worship me. But I want to get to the point to show you, because why is God even campaigning for himself like a Hebrew is? I mean, like not a Hebrew Israelite, but like a Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on doors like mess with me. Hold on, but it's gonna get worse because there's only 8 of them in here, right? Now I will want to see what this says. Oh, you know why? Because they don't want to see. They want you. INDIGNATION. Indignation is the word we're gonna look up. You know what an indignation is? It's an ass whooping. Now let's look at Deuteronomy 28. What does it say? It says, and the Lord rooted them out of the land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation. And he cast them into another land into this day. So hold on. We just tripping off great indignation right there. So y'all can see that great indignation. And all we got to do is look it up. It's going to say getting hands put on. Right now it says, look, But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that he was built a wall there, he was wroth and he took indignation and mocked the Jews. So he got indignant. Now let's see what happens though. I want to get to this one statement just to ask how this happened in the Bible. It's gonna come, so let me look. You could get a word in there. I've been talking for a while if you want to say something. All right, let me see. So this great indignation is not brought upon the opponents of Israel, but this great indignation is actually brought upon Israel when they tried to run up on the people of Molech. Hold on, man. I got to get this right. I passed it. Let me see. I could probably find it in. Anyways, I want to show you a verse concerning Molech and a conflict that happened when the Israelites, Yahweh got them Jews to go fight, and then the king venerated to Molech, and they wound up beating Israel, and they never returned to do anything to them. Let me see. Hold on. Excuse me. Damn, what time is it? All right. All right. And so, are you there still, brother? Hello?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know what question you want me to ask. I thought we were dealing with the breast.
No. Yeah, we was dealing with that, but then we had I asked you a question since you hadn't responded to the other one. And
Okay,
so
we clear that up. Okay, so we're not on that no more. Okay.
I mean, but wherever we could go right back to that. Like I just was looking at some other stuff, but now since I said it, I kind of want to prove it, and I want so you could go.
Well,
I remember.
You said you're not an Israelite though, right?
No.
So you're dealing with Israelite scriptures though, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is how I learned that I'm not one. Because you got to know them. Like, now look at this. Like this one I'm about to show you.
I'm trying to ask you something. So, well, I don't. Okay, that's fine. You can go ahead.
No, you go ahead and ask the question.
Well, I don't need to know. I'm not trying to know your personal business. I'm just saying, like, since you're not an Israelite and you know you're not an Israelite, what makes you think you're going to understand the Israelite scriptures and the depths of their scriptures and the secrets of them?
Because you're going back, because it's written in plain English, and you're going back to this theological thing, like, oh, if you're an Israelite, you're going to get some heightened understanding. But I mean, it might be some truth to that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that will be because you study the language and you're immersed in the culture. And these are things that we could see from a scholastic standpoint. Like, I don't have to be immersed into the culture in order to define it. Like I could say a lot of the traditions, and they're written, they're prescribed and defined.
I can't say I agree with you because we're talking about a God now. We're talking about not just a God. We're talking about the Creator, who has spoken to the nation of Israel, and we have given them a certain way of living and a standard of living. And then an outsider is trying to say that they can come in and just tell us what the Scripture says. I mean, that's kind of like crazy. And I mean, not just what the Scripture says, but what the Most High has said to us.
But is the Scripture only for Israelites? Because if that's the case, it's not even useful. Like, is it supposed to bring liberation to the whole world, or is it only for Israelites? If it's only for Israelites, then I don't need to be concerned with it. You feel what I'm saying?
That's a whole nother question, but I'm just saying, like, if your God gave you something, right, then I may not understand everything about what your God is doing and why he's doing that, because that's not my God.
But that make it crazy right there. That's what I'm saying. God, to me, everybody God. If I was doing a God, everybody God would just be merged into one, and that'd be my God. Like, it wouldn't be these separations and divisions That ain't even monotheistic to the follower of monotheism.
I
You
mean, what you
can't
just
even be
said.
talking about it's monolatry. You can't even be talking about your God and my God, but you're supposed to be monotheistic. So really, it's only supposed to be one God.
Yeah, but I was saying that for the benefit of you, not for my sake. I was saying your God in the sense of the creator, the God of Israel, right? He claims to be the only true power or the only true creator. And so, yeah, you got a God, but it would be on a lower level of a God.
Okay,
So
that's
it
cool.
wouldn't be, it
That's
wouldn't
your
be.
theological perspective. You saying my whatever God I got, if I had one, would be lower than yours, just because that's theology. But the question is,
Hold on, that's not just theology,
how could
though.
you maintain monotheism by saying I got a God that ain't the same as your God?
Because I just told you. I answered that.
Mono means one.
I know, but I answered that before you even asked that question.
What did you say?
The creator, the God of Israel, claims to be the only true God, the one, the mono, as you call it, right?
Yeah.
And so all other deities are idols.
So, but you just told me I had a God. So
Yeah,
what my God says don't got nothing to do with what Yahweh says. If Yahweh consider him an idol, that's fine. But my God, like I'm not no damn idol, I'm a God. So, and if you acknowledge that I have a God, but he's relegated in your religion to being an idol, he wouldn't be in my religion. Therefore, that'll throw out the whole monotheism thing. Even God acknowledged other gods.
It wouldn't because there's only one. There's only one true
No,
living God.
that's not monotheism. That's monolatry. Monotheism is one God exists. Period.
That's it. I just said that. I said that before you said that. I said
But
that
you just said my God ain't your God.
all other gods are idols.
See, that's just what your God's saying. That's like pimping, bro. That's the same way a pimp talk to. Look, all my other chicks, she the bottom. You my bottom. All the other ones is just idols. It's the same thing, but they really still other women, right? But he's just convincing you that these other gods have a lower subordinate position because in your tradition, he's the alpha.
Oh no, it's not. It's not the same because of the pimp. That's against the God of Israel. We don't supposed to be pimps.
Yeah,
So,
but
so
allow me to make
that's
these
a bad example.
analogies though. I hear what you're saying, but you have to, for the sense of discourse, that I wasn't saying that goes with what you guys teach. I'm saying the similar rhythm in your
It's not a similar.
logic.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's not a similar rhythm. Now, if you would have said wives and that the other wives, these are my wives, but you my like my you my first wife, so to speak. Like then that's you my first wife. I was married to you first. If a man talking to his woman, but these are my wives as well. Then maybe that you might have could have maybe used that one for and see if that worked. But we ain't pimps around here, man.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to insult nobody, and I wasn't trying to mix the two. I simply was giving an analogy about how in pimping, the pimp convinces the main your main chick that the other girls are simply not on the level of her. They're just here for work. Now, in the theology, you was doing the same thing with God. You was saying, oh, this is God and everything else is just idols. And so I made the analogy like that's just coming from the pimp who trying to convince you to go with his plan. And in your analogy, God, the pimp, trying to convince you, and that's no disrespect, but in that analogy, I don't even want to say that. But in that analogy, God will be taking the position of convincing one that everything outside of this is something else, like idols. But if a person venerated that idol, then that's that person's God. So my point is monotheism don't even make no sense if you think about it, because
Well,
only one God's supposed to exist.
to you, it wouldn't. I can understand that. You said you're not an Israelite, so I can understand that. I can
Well,
understand that.
monotheism isn't owned by Israelites. Like there's plenty other religions that Allah is supposed to be the only one God, correct? Is
Well,
Allah Yahweh?
well, if Allah is the God of Israel, if Allah is the God of Israel, it depends on how they're using that word Allah.
Man, you trying to make it up. You know dang well Allah ain't the God of Israel.
No, I'm just trying to, give some. I don't know. I mean, I could be. So I don't want to speak and somebody say, okay, Allah is the God of Israel, then if Allah is the God of Israel, then that means Allah has to say everything what the God of Israel has said in the scriptures, which is Genesis through Malachi, the Tanakh or Torah. So I don't
Man,
know how they're using that word.
I ain't mad at you, family. I ain't even mad. You, like I said, you have resolve in your belief. And my daughter called me to pick her up, and I'm almost at my 1 o'clock time where I stopped doing sign of the TV anyway. I appreciate you for being willing to come on and build on it, even though you knew we wouldn't agree about a lot of things. And I like the nature of our discourse. You notice that we ain't started cussing or funking. Ain't nobody really tried to step on nobody else's toes. That's what really be happening. It be just one little y'all stupid, and then it just turned into a big old fight. I didn't have no reason to do that to you, and you didn't seem to have no reason to do that to me. So I appreciate your willingness to come in and build on the subject. I will let you say the final things, at least about what we're saying, after I say my little piece. And so I simply was to say what I was saying about monotheism. I'm only saying this is a linguistic flaw that we're calling it monotheism when there's other ways to classify the belief system. And I wrote articles on monolatry, monolatry. Now, if I look up monolatry, it says the worship of one God without denial of the existence of other gods. Now, let's keep it real. The monolatry is more like what we're doing here, because y'all saying, look, he the God of Israel. That means that you know that if I'm from Egypt, then I might be looking for another. He ain't the God of me. You see what I'm saying? And so monolatry stems out of monotheism, but it's in the fact when other cultures realize no matter what they say, other people say other things. And so then if I say it's only one God, but it's some Chinese people saying, no, my God is this, then by default, there are two gods right there. Therefore, it diffuses the old concept of monotheism and it goes into monolatry, which is totally not a bad thing. I just was trying to make sure we got this classified correctly academically.
Yeah, that's good that you broke that down. But we must also remember that in the scriptures, the Torah, the Tanakh, he doesn't claim to be he doesn't use those terms like.
You're right. The monotheism isn't in there, right? That word isn't in there. You're
Yeah,
right.
monotheism is not. It's not something that the Israelites were saying in the English text.
Yeah, you're right. Because the
So,
text was
so
originally henotheistic
we
anyway.
can't put that dirt on the God of Israel like that. We can't do that.
I'm with you on that. But the way we analyze it, they didn't say that word. That's like they didn't say Christian in the Bible. But Christians come out of the Bible. And you won't find the term Hebrew Israelite in the Bible. But the contingency of the people we call Hebrew Israelites come out of the Bible. And so, but thank you for building. I'll let you get the last thing, and I'm going to close this out and go pick up my daughter.
Well, man, peace. Appreciate the yeah. I just wanted to just come on. You was asking and you was challenging, so I said, well, let me see if I can bring some understanding on how I see it and how many other Israelites see it in reference to the Almighty being the El Shaddai. And so, yeah, when we say there's only one God, we talking about there's only one Creator, but we humans are gods, but we're not the creator of heaven and earth. Maybe that can bring some understanding or clarity on that too. So yeah, so when the Most High is talking about there's no other gods but Him, that's like saying there's no other creator besides Him. There is other gods, but those gods were created, which means He has superiority. He's superior and over those gods. Like Adam, he was a god, but he's not the creator of heaven and earth. He's not the most high force. He's not the most high power. He's a power, but he's not the most high power.
Hold on, let me see. I don't be liking to be like that, but let me look real quick. Sometimes I'll be looking to say thank you for the contributions people gave. Then I don't know whether I'll be too emotional or whatever, or just like, hold on, nobody thought that this was cool. Just right now, I'm looking at the Smash Rock at Cash App, and I'm about to send out my thank yous. So guess what? I got no thank yous to send out after this presentation. So I'm just going to thank the people like you who supported by coming in and make it a nice stream. The people in the chat who was just got the free lesson and learned a lot and gave up good comments. I appreciate y'all. And everybody who support the Smash Rock channel, don't ever think it's all about monetary. What you could do is put up a comment, put up a like, subscribe to a channel, and it always helps. But sometimes when I be spending 2 or 3 hours of my day doing this right here, who is this talking about Dr. Inky, man? Cut it out. I would share your screen right now. Dr. Inky, share your screen. Yeah, he left.
Yeah, I just want to say this, if there's no did I make it like make myself make clear, be clear in reference to the monotheism stuff? I was trying to show you.
I was clear on that. Yep. But I'm out of here. I'm past my time. Got to get my daughter. Cool. Thank you for tapping in. I'm gone. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace.
All right.
Peace.
I left my own studio, didn't even end the stream. You could have just been streaming for you could have been streaming for the rest of the day. All right, I'm out. Peace, peace. All right, yeah. Hit that cash app. Oh, yeah, somebody just hit it. Mario was like, man, that's wrong. He hit it with the archer's arrows. Shout out to you, Mario. You feel me? All right, I'm up out of here. Peace. Thanks for the contributions. Uh-oh, somebody else hit it. Hold on, let me stop. Hold on. I keep trying to get up out of here. But Cats is like, hell no, nobody hit you off. See y'all doing right. DJ Tragic, thank you. Y'all know we was in here building today. And Mario, and anybody else who see it in the future, I'm gone. Peace, peace, peace.